What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Carriage.
And this is the Nerdy,
the Wordy,
the Book Club. This time we are covering Shadows of Self, Part 2 for us. That's going to be chapters 7 through 17 of the novel that I hope you read, because we're about to spoil everything about it.
Yeah.
Just those chapters.
Just those chapters.
Yeah, we haven't read the rest of the book.
Haven't gotten to the end yet, so we don't know how it concludes.
That's how Book Club works. Is this your first time? If it is, please let us know.
Yeah, welcome on in. This would be a really random first book club.
Yeah, it would. It's not like a book of Brandon Sanderson's that I've heard people praise as like their favorite. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Like, I think people generally find us on things that, like, are really hype, or, like, you know, like, people tuned in for... There were a lot of people who said, like, their first book club was, Words of Radiance.
Oh, okay.
The particularly the chapters where it was, like, Honor is dead, but I'll see what I can do.
Nice.
So,
Fair.
But I don't know, this would be a weird week. I enjoyed the reading this week, and I think that, this is a good book.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also, like, not the hypest, craziest moments of a...
Yeah. It's more just like an enjoyable read. Yeah.
Barros, thank you for 10 gifted membos.
Thank you so much.
What a gift.
Thank you. Oh my God.
What a like technically correct gift.
There were 6 audiobook reactions this week.
There were.
So now you can go watch those.
In a row.
Yeah.
We did them all before I posted them too. So for patrons, I was like, I'm going to send you guys one email about this and not 6.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fair. I think you dropped them, like, late at night, too, and people were, like, freaking out. They're like, do I go to bed, or do I watch the audiobook reaction?
I know. I always drop them at, like, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, because that's when we're still working.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're have a healthy work-life balance.
Yeah, we're great at time management, really good at work-life balance, all of those things. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Land of Arshel says this is their favorite Mistborn Era 2 book. Mistborn Era 2 book. And Calamort says this is their favorite Mistborn Era 2 book.
Oh,
so
okay. A lot of love for this book.
People are on the Shadows of Self love train.
Hey, it's been great so far.
Yeah, I think that this book is... It does all the things that I liked about Alloy of Law, but I do think it is actually a little bit stronger. Just because it feels just a little bit more sure of itself in terms of the style and the era, and... I think that whatever Brandon learned writing Alloy of Law about what he wanted Era 2 to be, I feel like he's just tightened his focus a little bit. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the way in which it's exploring Wax a little bit deeper, and Wax feels a little bit more flawed.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it a lot today, but like Marcy, in idolizing Wax, is being forced to see the like flaws in him by a lot of the characters around him.
That veil lifted.
Yeah.
Like the rose-colored glasses have been taken off. She's like, oh, I kind of get it now. And it doesn't make all the things about him that are great, irrelevant. But she's just able to also notice that, like, how other people see him and the way that he behaves, that affects like his job and the other people around him who are also trying to do their jobs, right?
Yeah, I think that it is it's really interesting because after the first book I was like, I really enjoyed that. It was very fun. Wax is so incredible. Like so incredible that it's like almost unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like he's just too good.
And then we started off with this prologue.
Yeah, and so I think that getting the I think getting some balancing to Wax's majesty has been a really nice touch in this book for the Shadows of Self or for Era 2 as an era. So I think that if Wax was just great every book, I think that I would actually lose steam, but I think I'm actually more interested because the book is pointing out some of his flaws and the way that he makes life for, you know, the Connors more difficult.
Yeah.
Double M says, I actually like Era 1 better. I agree with that. I like these books, but I like Era 1 better.
I'll be honest. I like Era 1 better for sure because that's more my flavor of fantasy.
What do you... No, it's not. There's not one dragon. What are you talking about?
I mean more like...
You have a very specific flavor of fantasy, and it is big dragon, cute boy or girl riding it.
That definitely helps, but it's more that like...
Era 1 is at best your second tier of fantasy.
This is like more like modernized fantasy, and it's still fun. Like I love it. Yeah. But Mistborn Era 1 is just more like up my alley
For
in
sure.
that way. But in terms of quality, I don't think I could really be like, no, definitively Era 1 or Era 2 would be better. I think that I think that the quality of writing across the Mistborn trilogies, or not even trilogies, books, has... Their first one's a trilogy. This one's not a trilogy, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Quadrology.
So, I think that, like, the quality has been there and consistent. I think that it's more of a mileage may vary with the Mistborn eras because it's what do you prefer your books to feel like? What do you like them to explore? What are the kinds of characters that you like? Because I do feel the characters in Era 1 and Era 2 are actually very distinctly different.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I prefer Era 1 for a number of reasons. I mean, like just like a theological reason, right? I find the like revolutionaries just more interesting and relatable than lords who are struggling with how they're gonna, not crash the economy and ruin everybody else's life. Just on a personal note, right? And so I think that there is something about the like moving to New York and being a starving artist that makes me feel like I'm a revolutionary, and that's not necessarily the truth.
You watched Rent a few times.
Well, and not only I watched it, I lived it, right? Yeah. Like I lived that experience, and I think that sometimes artists over romanticize our own revolutionarianism, and by sometimes I mean often.
Artists like to wallow in their suffering.
Yeah, and pretend that it's far more noble than it actually is. And I'm self-aware enough to know that is something that is within me.
Sure.
But I'm also not self-aware enough to completely devoid myself of it and not live that experience. It's still a part of the I'm gonna make art that changes the world, that like burns like an ember in my chest.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we get into everything today, we should say this podcast is brought to you by MistyMountainGaming.com. MistyMountainGaming.com is a website, and they have dice that also have little embers inside some of them. They've got like really cool designs.
There's some glitter inside some of them.
Yeah.
Some eyeballs.
Yeah, glitter is the herpes of the world.
True.
Yeah. But you can get it encased in resin where it can't hurt you.
Yeah. The glitter can't hurt you. You may safely admire its beauty if you buy Misty Mountain Liquid Core Gaming dice over MistyMountain.com using the code nerdynightly15 because that means you get 15% off. So if you don't put in the code, you're spending more money, and that just seems really silly.
So get yourself some herpes, y'all.
Yeah, but like contained herpes.
Go get contained herpes at MistyMountainGaming.com using code nerdynightly15. We're giving you a discount on herpes, you guys.
You're so welcome.
That's pretty great.
That is pretty great.
That's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, 15% off.
What other podcast offers you a 15% discount on herpes?
None that I know of.
This was our final ad for MistyMountainGaming.com.
No, this is our best work yet. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh boy. Oh man. Let's get back into it though. Clarus, we've read a little bit over half the book. Probably more than, 2/3 of the book. How many chapters are left?
Oh, that's actually a good question. I've got the book here.
Oh yeah, there's only like 9 chapters left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I'm
6,
looking at
7,
what it
8,
is
9,
like.
10. Yeah, so there's 10 chapters left.
17, almost there.
17 out of. So yeah, there's 10 left. We've read 18 because of prologue. So yeah, we're at 2/3. How do you feel about the story this book is telling? You okay there?
Yeah. So far, so good. I like it.
What just happened?
What?
You just, like, fully shut down for a second.
Well, because I was like, I threw the bookmark and I didn't put it in chapter 18, which is fine because I can find it again later. But I was like, do I bend over and do I pick up the bookmark and put it in the book? It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Karen says if your sponsors actually listened to your ads, they would have been long gone by now. You're right.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Yeah, but you guys keep spending money, so they keep liking us, so keep doing that.
What does that say about our show? That they're just not paying attention? Probably not great things.
I wonder how many companies actually, like, if you, like, insert an ad into a 3-hour video, how many companies are actually going to, like, check up on it?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I think that usually they mandate where it isn't. So I think if we had a bigger audience, they would check.
Maybe.
I think that they don't care because they're like, it's the same fucking, like, 1,000 weirdos every week.
Yeah, you weirdos.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
James Ross says, are we supposed to be paying attention to the show?
No.
I don't know, man.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah, you guys can all go, honestly. If book club died, then I would just be sad.
We would be sad. We would have far less minis painted.
Yeah, it's true. Contribute to my depression by not showing up. That's weird. No, I don't want to. No. If you don't want to be here, don't be here. Never mind. I want to be really clear about something.
It was a joke, and you backpedaled.
It's a joke that I don't like. I hate when creators try and make their audiences feel responsible for their mental health.
Oh, God.
Like, I really hate it. You guys, I will be fine no matter what happens. I promise. If this show is not sparking joy in you, like Marie Kondo used to say before she had kids, and now she's given up on that. Yeah, Marie Kondo recently came out was like, I stopped tidying up after I had 3 kids. And the internet was like, yeah, of course you fucking did. If this show does nothing for you, please leave. And don't feel bad for me. I don't ever want you to feel parasocially responsible for my mental health.
No.
My wife's responsible for my mental health.
Yeah. And I'm not going anywhere. I can't drive, so.
That's true. But we moved. We're close to the subway now, so.
It's true. I can get anywhere that I can get to on a train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like the airport, so.
You know what? That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I am so connected to the world globally, and I have a passport, so. This
is not related to the book at all, but the fact Toronto has this amazing train called the Up Train that goes from like literally downtown straight to the airport. And its only job is to go from downtown to the airport.
Yeah.
I lived in New York City for 10 years. And when I tell you getting to the airport is the worst thing you can imagine, no matter which, well, here's the thing.
The one airport was
Here's the thing. Newark isn't in New York.
Right.
And it has a train that goes from downtown to the airport.
Yeah, that's the easiest one.
JFK and LaGuardia, even though they're both renovated, and they're much nicer than when I moved there, getting to the airport in New York City is such a fucking pain in the ass. And it shouldn't be. They should just extend the subway to the airport. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Urban planning.
JFK can't hurt me anymore.
Nerdy Nightly.
I did take urban planning in college.
I know.
I greatly enjoyed it. Yeah. I got to see Robert De Niro throw a chair.
In real life?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that for you. Yeah. Oh, right, because he was there arguing for something.
Yeah, right? He wanted to put a penthouse on top of a historical building.
Rich people, man.
Arzu says, friendship test. True friends will drive you to the airport. Nobody in New York has a car.
That's fair.
That's some LA shit, Arzu.
That's like everywhere else in the world except like New York.
Yeah.
Litmus test. Like that it's a good litmus test as long as you're not in New York, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, we're here to talk about a book.
The book's good. Having a great old time. Should we talk about chapter 7, or do you want to express any more feelings?
Joe White, thank you for being a member for 20 months. Sorry if this has been asked before. Are you going to engage with any Wheel of Time trailers? We watched one.
There was one, yeah.
Did we miss one? I don't think we missed a trailer, did we?
I don't think so. I know there was I think maybe like an interview or something with Matt. I think there was some Matt stuff that I saw on Twitter, but I have deleted Twitter off of my phone, so I have to go looking for Twitter if I want to scroll through it now, which has been great actually for my mental health.
I'm not gonna lie. I am going to say that we will react to the trailers if they pop up, and we're probably gonna react to the show. I've liked all of the promotional material for season 3 so far. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think that everything I've seen from season 3 so far looks really good. Now, granted, there were promotional things for season 2 that I thought looked really good too, and I didn't really like the season of television very much.
Season 2 was hit or miss.
I've got so many questions about season 3. I think that this is really gonna make or break the show, right? Oh no, I did the Wheel of Time trailer. You didn't.
Because I wasn't here?
Yeah, I did that reaction by myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a trailer reaction of me watching the Wheel of Time trailer, but Claris was at a photo shoot when that went
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, the weird thing about Wheel of Time reactions is we are going to be in Japan all of April. So
it's going to be weird.
We got to figure that out. Of course, all the shows that we're going to be reacting to are dropping in like March and April. So that's going to be a problem that we need to solve.
There might be like a week at the beginning of May where there's like a Wheel of Time episode every day, and then we'll catch up for the finale or something like that, but we'll see.
I have no idea what we're going to do. We'll get there in a month.
It's our editor's problem.
Sure.
No, I am excited. I am excited for season 3. I think that they're either going to settle into something that really works and get a season 4, or it's going to be kind of a mess again and they're not going to get a season 4. I think that that's where the show is at right now. I think that Wheel of Time really is going to be a question mark based on whether or not this season works.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that fantasy's all in that kind of place, right? Like, Rings of Power, the numbers came out for season 2, and it was a 60% drop from season 1. And so while they do have a season 3 confirmed, I do wonder what the budget of that season will be.
Yeah.
I do wonder what the scale back of their expectations are on that show. And I do wonder if scaling back on their budget might benefit the show. I think that limitations can sometimes breed a more interesting product, because you have to get a little bit more creative with what you're doing and how you're stretching your dollar. And it might be the best thing to happen to Rings of Power is to have kind of a fundamental shift that causes them to have to
possibly
work a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And maybe that's mean to say, but I find that show to be kind of lazily produced.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not our favorite.
Which is crazy because the budget's so high. And they have all the money in the world, but the actual like behind the scenes work just seems to be the acting is phenomenal, but the writing and the planning just doesn't seem to be very, very strong.
Yeah.
Spencer D says, you know what fantasy show isn't on the chopping block? Legends of Vox Machina. Yeah, because
hell yeah, because it's fucking fantastic.
It's great. And animation is just a little bit easier.
Yeah.
It is. Also, like, they only have 2 seasons left. They'll finish it.
Well, but they're also working on Mighty Nine. So there's like, you know, like they're thriving.
Yeah, but Mighty Nine, okay, we're getting so far away from Brandon Sanderson. Mighty Nine is the more popular team.
Sure. Okay.
Right? So like Mighty Nine is among critters the more popular Critical Role team.
Right.
And so I think that Jester is going to blow up. Jester alone is going to blow the fuck up. Once Mighty Nine drops, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
That's enough. We're 20 minutes in. You like the book so far. I like the book so far.
Hell yeah.
Chapter 7. Wax and Wayne go back to the house for a long rest.
Yeah. Yeah, they
need
to
sleep.
Replenish and deal with Wax being shot.
Yeah. And they show up. Darius, our new butler, says, hey, Renette was here. And then Wayne's weird about it. And Wax is like, she doesn't like you. Stop.
Yeah, please leave that woman alone. He's like, no, she wants to shoot me because she likes me. And he's like, fuck, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're delusional.
Did we drop out for a second? Sorry, y'all.
Oh.
And
we're back.
Yeah, it was a quick.
Oopsie.
And
nothing popped up on our end, so.
Yeah, and Renette has passed along a new package, which we will get to test out later. The Wax is like, you know what? We need to go talk to the guy that tried to shoot me. So we're going to go get in our carriage.
Yeah, she does tell Steris that someone tried to kill the governor. No, she tells him.
The sequence of events here is they get back to be done for the night.
Yeah.
They're immediately not done for the night.
They're not done.
And Steris is like, you're done for the night, right? And he's like, yes. And then, they have to go to a party.
Yeah.
And then someone walks in and is like, hey, there's a problem.
Yeah, because basically, like, she's trying to make sure that he comes to this party and is like, so, we're supposed to go to this party and someone did try to kill the governor, but I have it on good authority that, like, he's still going to be there because he wants to look strong.
That's what it was. Yes.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, someone tried to kill the governor. And he's like, what?
Yeah. What?
And no one told me, Batman.
She's like, I just told you right now.
So they go and get in the coach, and who's driving the coach, babe?
Motherfucker, I thought we misheard. Like, I was like, no, I definitely just like, my ears got clogged for a second. Their coachman is named Hoyd.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure that has absolutely no relation to anything ever.
Yeah.
I feel like when Hoyd was bopping around in Mistborn Era 1, there were people that he helped, and someone was like, I'm gonna name my son Hoyd, and that person was like, I'm gonna name my son Hoyd, and then...
After the beggar?
Yeah, he's a helpful guy. I'm sure that this is like an unrelated Hoyd, for sure.
Yeah.
Positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very common name.
Who's here while a city's falling and people are dying, doing nothing yet again. Because he's facile,
Here's the thing. He
useless,
doesn't say
immortal.
a word. Doesn't say a word.
I know.
Does not interact. He is barely mentioned.
Yeah. This is where the Hoyd thing gets weird to me, though, because he cared about the city in Stormlight, but he doesn't... He's just a driver in... If you're gonna introduce the guy and then have him start doing stuff to save cities... it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
We don't know what he's doing when he's not driving that coach.
Sure. If he ends up doing something, fine. But if it's just Hoyd to have him be the coach driver, I roll my eyes at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, people are dying. What are you doing?
I think that's better, honestly, just like mentioning very briefly by name than if like they did some like quippy banter and then we never saw him again.
Okay. Yeah. Like if he gave like Wax a flute.
Yeah.
And then was like, Wax, you lost my flute. And he's like, I don't play the flute, my guy.
I have no time to learn.
Flutes take years to learn.
I learned it in a year in high school.
Yeah, I bet you sounded amazing.
Well.
Sorry, that was so mean.
I feel like I was pretty good, but I was also like 13, so who the fuck knows?
I'm not a big fan of a flute on its own.
Okay.
A flute in an orchestra, there are a few masters of the flute who can like really rock a solo.
All right.
But like if I'm going to an orchestra concert and they're like, what instrument do you like, rank the instruments you want to hear a solo from tonight? Flute might be the bottom.
Really?
It might be the last instrument I want to hear a solo from.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a good one in Shrek the Musical. There's a good flute solo there.
In Shrek the Musical? Which part?
When Fiona takes the flute from the Pied Piper.
Oh,
yeah.
She starts
that's
tapping.
A decent flute solo.
Yeah. I mean, that's barely... Yeah. I think that barely counts.
Yeah, it's short, which is what's great about it.
All right. Well, there you go.
James Ross, the joke in Anchorman is that the flute is the worst instrument, which is why it's funny that he plays jazz flute.
Not the worst instrument. The recorder is the worst instrument.
The joke in Anchorman is that he plays the flute. That's why they chose the... Okay, a triangle solo is great. If someone can play a good triangle solo, that's comedy.
Patti LuPone.
Patti LuPone.
Yeah.
Patty. Good old Patty. Stop taking pictures.
Oh my god. Anyways.
Where were we?
Wax
gets in the
we
carriage.
got distracted by Hoyd.
And he's like, it's time to meditate. And he sits down and he puts his little earring in. Mm-hmm. And he talks to God. And God is like, hey,
Here's a bunch of information that you should probably know.
Do you like an exposition dump? Because God, I do. Oh, honestly, wait, that's me.
This was very useful, yeah.
We called it.
What?
We were 100% right.
Oh, about it being a Condra?
It's a Condra.
Yeah, it's a Condra. Okay. And a Condra of the third generation, they've started calling themselves Bleeder. I can't remember their...
we find it out later, but it's like Parian or something.
I know that... Pa'am. Yeah. Anyways, we've got a rogue Condra, and Wax is like, damn, I thought that, like, you know, you guys were, like, they were, like, your servants. And Sazed is like, yeah, no, I can definitely control the Condra if I want to, but they have to have both spikes in, and Bleeder's taken out one of those spikes, which also means that she's, like, a little crazy. So there's not much I can do about it there. You're going to have to figure this one out yourself, actually.
Which is an interesting information relating to Era 1, right? Because there's the whole Era 1 thing where the Lord Ruler, or not the Lord Ruler, Ruin can control the Inquisitors.
Yep.
But can't control Vin. Can only, like, give Vin visions. Because her earring is only one spike.
Yeah.
And so if Vin had a second spike, the Ruin might have been able to just take over her.
Oh, like if she had both earrings instead of one.
Yeah, and so it isn't like this kind of like retroactively explains why the Lord Ruler was able to take over the Inquisitors but not Vin.
Yeah.
Because she never had more than one spike in her, which interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even put that together, but yeah, that checks out. Bleeder can also take out all the spikes and then fall on a hemalurgic spike to give herself a new power.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy. That's insane.
But she has to like
fall in a way.
The process of it is she has to pull out a spike.
Yeah.
In a way that causes her to fall on a spike.
Yes.
And I really want to see when they do the live action. It's going to be gross to watch, but I want to see how that works.
Yeah.
Because here's the other part of it, right? because she can hide the spike in her body, so it doesn't need to protrude at all. I was thinking like she has to fall in a place where it's going to be hidden, but that's not actually the case.
No, well, and then once the spike is there, she can, like, move it around.
She can gooped it.
Yeah, she can gooped it. Anyways.
Which is actually where Gwyneth Paltrow's company comes from.
Oh, from Mistborn Era too.
No.
She's a big fan of Condra.
She's a Condra.
Oh, she is a Condra.
Yeah, that's why her company's called Goop.
Oh.
Because she is Goop. That's why they keep shoving shit inside them there. Like the eggs that you shove up your ass.
Oh, I thought it went...
Oh, no, it's a jade egg in your pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To balance your chakras or some shit.
And then you take it out and you, like, have it absorb moonlight, and then you shove it back up there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't gotten to Smut Corner yet. I just want to be very clear on that.
And, Bryce, you've got to understand, she ate Gwyneth... Like, Gwyneth Paltrow was a person, right? And then
that's why she forgot she was in...
That's why she forgot she was in Spider-Man.
She forgot she was in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's the point where she became a Condra.
Yeah.
Okay, we figured it out, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, this makes total sense now.
So stupid.
Anyways.
I really want Gwyneth Paltrow as a Condra to become, like, a rumor on, like, InfoWars. You know what I mean? I need to convince Alex Jones, which is not hard to do. Actually, no, he doesn't own it anymore. Doesn't The Onion own that now? Fuck.
I think The
Onion. No, I don't believe
it
if it's on The Onion.
I think The Onion was blocked from buying it.
No! I know. That would have been the funniest shit ever.
I know. They put it in an offer, but I actually don't think that they were able to get it.
That's tragic.
Anyways.
Yeah, her name is now Gwyneth Paltrow.
Paltrow, there we go. She is secretly trying to destabilize the world.
Yeah.
That would make sense, actually.
Yeah, one vagina egg at a time.
Yeah. No, double M, it is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
That is definitely what they were referencing.
Shoved it right in my pussy.
Gotcha. Okay. So we find out that being able to read thoughts is of preservation. And being able to, like, talk to you in your thoughts is of ruin. So Harmony is of both and can do both. This is going to be very important later.
Yeah. Can't imagine why, but it will be.
Yeah, so it's also like there's nothing I can do. For some reason, I can't even really tell where Bleeder is.
Yeah, she's hiding from him.
So, I'm going to send you some help. And hopefully we can take care of this. All right, deal? Deal.
We also get this, what?
This interesting moment at the end.
Yeah, where Sazed is talking about how he maybe made life too easy.
Yeah, he's like, you guys were supposed to discover the radio, like, forever ago. And you should be flying. Like, there's so many things that y'all just haven't bothered to do. Because I put this little paradise here, and y'all are just determined to run it into the ground.
I don't understand this at all.
What?
I don't understand this as a concept.
Sazed basically put all the resources that they would need in one spot, and so they have no need for exploration.
100%. I get that. But at the same time, scientific advances have taken place in a lot of times around the world in places that were not resource deficient. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like having access to resources was... The radio didn't come about because they didn't have food. Do you know what I mean?
No, but it comes about because you are exploring and leaving home in a way that you need a way to contact people to, make that exploration easier. Like, they never, like, sail, really. They don't leave that basin. Like, no one has any desire to look further than, like, this, like, one little spot on the map, it seems like.
But they must have. They're making cars. Like, the cars aren't being mined in the city.
But that's just to get around town.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the resources to make a car. The amount of resources that is being dragged into this city in order to make a car, and like
dragged into the city. No, this is what I mean. Sazed says he put everything that they need in one place.
Right, but where is that mine?
It's all around the basin. Like, there's lots of mines that people are working.
Okay, yeah, so there's a maximum distance. I guess
there's, like, the basin, right? Ellendale is, like, here, and not every single thing is in Ellendale, but it's all, like, relatively close by, because I think Sazed was like, I'm gonna make it easier for people to not have to branch out too far, and in doing so, they didn't invent things like flying and the radio, like the ability to communicate over long distances, the ability to fly long distances, like...
Sure, but also, why would you have invented flying in 300 years? Where would you have gone?
Across the water.
But everyone on Earth...
There's also mountains.
Popped up in one spot.
No, that's not true. There's a thing
in the broadsheet. We are not nearly far enough away from where everyone popped up.
No,
now.
There's literally things in the broadsheets about, like, people that were found, like, were encountered in remote places.
Because they're exploring. Like, Sazed is like, you guys don't explore. But there's a thing in the broadsheet where they are exploring.
Yeah, there's, like, 2 people.
But that's where they're at. Like, this idea that they should have leapfrogged to global travel in 300 years is kind of crazy to me.
No, just aviation. We're not at jet planes yet, but we're at like being able to fly a little bit in the air.
I guess in my mind, the amount of time it would take to build cities far enough away that you would need planes is just longer than 300 years.
I don't know about building cities. That's not...
Then where are you flying to? Where are you landing? Like, we don't just build airports in the middle of nowhere. Like, the reason why we flew was because there were places that we wanted to go because there were already people there.
Yeah, but we have no incentive to explore right now because everything we need is in one place.
Oh, I get that 100%.
It's not like, shit, we're running out of gold. We need to, like, branch out and see if there's more gold.
But Sazed, I think that what I mean is that Sazed saying, like, you should have had this is weird to me because I'm like, what? It should have had a radio. Why?
To communicate with your base. If you're say you're like, hey, we're running out of gold. Gold is very lucrative and very important, especially when you account for the allomancy, right? And the ferrochemy. So there's like a gold mine that you have and it runs out and there's no other gold mines in the near vicinity, and so people get paid money to go explore and look further and further out for gold mines. Now, you need a way to contact people that are back home, back at your bases. Like, you need like a point of what, like a home base almost. The further out that you branch. Like, the radio would be to help people expand the horizons of their known world because they're able to communicate back home and not get lost and like tell people what they've found. So
right.
If everything is in one place, you don't really need a radio because you can like send a letter.
Because there's no people there. The reason why this felt weird to me is because it felt like Sazed was saying that their culture was not moving at the speed of the real world. The world we live in.
Of the world that he is foreseen because he's literally God and saw the future.
But why would that matter? But in comparison to what?
What do you mean in comparison?
What is Sazed comparing their progress to?
To what he saw when he took over the power and saw the past, present, and the future.
So he foresaw the radio but didn't give it to them? He gave them everything else.
Yeah, he's already like ham feeding them, like why him making it even easier would make it worse, because then humans don't like invent anything for themselves. They don't figure shit out for themselves. God just gives it to them. It's like having rich kids who have everything given to them and they never have to like bother to work for shit in their lives.
I think that it is weird in a society that has gone 300 years without a war, where people generally are fed, and Omniocus, maybe that's it. Maybe he's comparing it to all the other planets in the Cosmere. I found him saying like, you guys are behind weird, because I don't know how a culture can be behind. Cultures adapt to the environment they have. And so no matter what Sazed gave them, the things that they created were going to be based on that. And so it felt this moment where he started to bring up things that exist in our real world, but that don't exist in any Cosmere world we've seen. And that he expected them to have it at the time in their history where we would have had it, is what's like 100 years before the car about is when we like had the radio, right?
I mean, I have no point of reference for when we discovered things, so to me, I didn't make the connection. This
conversation between this moment, I really like the idea of, I gave you these resources, and so you developed differently than I expected, right? You adapted to the world I gave you is different to me than saying, I gave you these things, and so you aren't where you're supposed to be.
But it's not like they are vastly ahead in certain technologies that are like at home. They're just slow.
But they're not ahead.
No one is pushing them. They're not being challenged.
But they are. They have cars. Like, cars are a massive technological achievement. That's a huge thing that you've managed to pull off.
I just want to... There was a membership that I don't want to forget about. Judah, thank you. Welcome back to the Nerds Radiant. I think what Sazed means is that the technology for radio and planes is already feasible, but because it's not profitable for the basin, they don't do it.
Right. And so they adapted differently to the world he gave them. Not wrong.
He's saying they adapted slower. So you're saying that Sazed is, like, incorrect.
No, I'm not saying that he's wrong. I'm saying that I don't understand what he's comparing them to. Like, society is advancing.
Yeah.
And it is advancing based on what they need and what they have.
He's God.
So
he, like...
it felt like...
He knows things.
James Ross says first car 1886, radio 1895. We definitely had radios before 1895. Didn't we?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, then what does Sazed... Sazed wanted them to have the radio 100 years before the car, and we got them the same time? Then my understanding of the radio is way off, and Sazed is saying that, like, they should have had the radio 100 years before cars, which we didn't even do in our real world. So I guess... I think that Sazed... What I felt weird about it was
cars also came late. Like, Harmony is saying that things have developed so much slower than...
Because 90% of the world population died. If we lost 90% of the world population, like, and we had to restart from a few people in one place who got crawled out of a bunker, shit's gonna take time.
Yeah, and Sazed is saying that he is literally God, and he, like... sees how these things go and is saying that they develop slower than they were supposed to.
But the supposed to is what I feel weird about. right?
But he can see the future.
But he can't.
Well,
if they were
literally
supposed
God.
to and they didn't, then he can't see the future.
He sees futures.
Sure,
He sees
useless.
possibilities.
Sure, I can also see futures. In 2028, one of these 70 people will win. Oh, I got it right because one of those 70 people won. I guess I see that. Like, anyone can see futures.
Scafandi, thank you for that super chat.
I can guess at what's going to happen tomorrow. It does. If I'm wrong, well, I'm wrong. You know, God is just disappointed. Yeah. Underscore, thank you for that super chat. He mentioned the soil replenished, so they haven't advanced irrigation or farming, so they're not expanding beyond the basin, unlike a society that has to expand to survive. The expansion fuels development. Right, but the has to is the point.
And he has stopped them from that necessity, which has slowed down their progress.
They're not, but they're not behind. They're where they need to be. There's nowhere that they need to go.
Okay, so you have decided that there was no, like, timeline that Sazed knew, and so this doesn't work for you.
No, it's not that I've decided that. It's that claiming that societies have to expand is a strangely colonialist viewpoint for a god of preservation to have.
No, it's just human nature.
But in this world it isn't, right? This is a fantasy world where these people don't have that nature. We have that nature because we needed to expand to survive.
Yeah, and they don't, and so they don't expand, and they don't innovate, and so they don't progress.
So there shouldn't be a supposed to. You guys did not do what I expected is very different than you guys should have had the radio 100 years, but I fucked up. No, you didn't. You gave them a world and they adapted to it. That's what humans do. We adapt to the situation we're in. My problem with it then is not that Sazed saw futures and they didn't do the one that he thought they were going to do. It's the language Sazed uses around you should have had this 100 years ago when they don't live in a world where they need it, so why would they make it? But they do want cars, and so they made them. They are doing the same things humans always do, which is adapting to their needs.
Yeah, just slower than anticipated.
But it isn't slower, it's just different. The speed they're adapting at is the speed they need to adapt at.
I mean, I guess you can decide
They're doing well. If this was a society that was, like, failing, I would agree with Sazed. There were things you were supposed to do, you didn't do them, and now you're dying. But they're not in that position.
Yeah, because he made sure that they weren't going to die and that they had things in the place that they needed them.
But they're still adapting to what they need to do. It felt weird to me that he feels this, like, that they're behind something. But behind what?
James
There's
Fox
no war.
says
There's no...
It's him apologizing for them not having what they could have had. Like, he's like, you could have had these technological advances if I hadn't made things so easy and made it so enticing to stay in one spot.
But why would they need them?
What?
Why would they need them? Why do they need to fly? We need to fly because there's places far away that we need to get to.
So you're saying that they're just gonna stay the same forever?
No, they're just gonna evolve at the rate they need to.
This is so odd because you have a, like, problem with, like, medieval fantasy worlds that, like, do not ever progress and they're stuck in their, like, swords and armor.
Okay, that's not fair.
And, like,
that's not fair at all.
Made guns, like...
That is deeply unfair because what I have said is it does not make sense to me that this society is 10,000 years old and nothing has changed. That is very different than in the last 300 years we developed cars and we have a thriving city of over 1 million people where people are generally fed. There's social unrest right now because someone is causing it. People
are not happy.
Yeah, but that is an intentional thing on behalf of bad actors that is happening right now, right? Mm-hmm. And we know what that is, right? We know why there's social unrest at the moment. The book has told us. We are still in the first chapter. Jesus Christ. This is book club, guys. Scafandi, thank you for that super chat. Can God be wrong? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like, Sazed himself said that he's been wrong. Like, that he's either done too much or too little, and is like, I'm new to this God shit. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I just found it odd. I found the, like, idea of a culture supposed to do things that are very colonialist a odd thing for a god to apologize for them not doing, right? Like, I think that, like, this culture that is fine, that where like, things are generally okay, it's not falling apart on its own. It is, there are things that are being forced upon it that are causing problems. But for a culture that seems to have wealth and happiness and technology and art and industry and new technology, like, they're literally, like, trying out guns and cars, and they are developing things. They're just not developing the right things, I guess. But they don't have problems that they need to have solved with technology they don't have. For him to say, like, well, you were supposed to have radios, it's like, well, why do they need radios? Like, if they don't need radios, then they don't need radios. Like, that's not a problem, right? And so for him to, it's just a very, the sentiment of it feels strange to me, to say that, like, society was supposed to develop on this, like, it feels like a sieve tree where you're like, well, you were supposed to do farm, and it's like, I guess farming's a bad one because you need farming, but, like, you were supposed to develop deep sea sailing in Era 2, and it's like, okay, well, we didn't, and we're fine. And I find I found it an odd concept because it felt weirdly like Sazed was comparing their culture to our world and not to anything we've seen in the Cosmere. It just felt too, I think that's what it is. I think ultimately it felt like Sazed was a commentary on how they don't have things we have. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, but they don't need the things we have. They have fucking magic. Like, who cares that they don't have hard drives? They have people who can remember everything. So they just hire that person to do that because it's cheaper than making hard drives, right? Like, they have fantasy things that are the equivalent of what we have. They don't need the radio because a coin shot can fly around the city and tell somebody where everything is. Like, there's things that they have. Fantasy worlds use their magic to have things that we have in a different way. And so they don't develop the things that we have because they're fantasy worlds. Mm-hmm. And I found this moment just a little unimmersive in that it made me think about, like, comparing them to our world in a way that I didn't want to do.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
All right.
Yeah. Arzu, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you.
I think Sanderson was trying to lampshade the world building issue so people wouldn't ask why X is not there yet. He just didn't do that well. I think he did it well for other people. I think that I'm probably closer to being alone in my view of how this made me feel. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Judah Canizares, thank you for that super chat. Sazed implied there were other people who had far less than the Basin and ended up doing more in the same time. Then he trails off. He as God can see around the Cosmere and compares stuff to the Basin. I just don't think comparing planets really makes sense. They don't have the same needs, so they're not going to have the same stuff. There are plenty of technologies that we think in North America are absolutely vital that we try and force upon people around the world, and they go, "No, we're good. We don't want that."
Yeah, you go to Japan and there's a bidet everywhere, and you are in North America and you're like, "Why isn't my toilet washing my ass?"
And yeah, there are people who come to North America and they're like, "Wait, you guys still don't have bidets? What are you doing?"
We're living in the dark ages.
And it's like, well, yeah, because it's weird here, right? And I don't know. It's the supposed to that I found weird. I honestly think that if he just hadn't said supposed to, I would have been way more into this idea. But him saying that, like, you guys are supposed to have this technology, well, who is going to invent it? Like, we have penicillin by accident, you guys. We literally accidentally have penicillin.
Maybe it's more of a commentary that this world doesn't, like, invest any money into advancements. And that, like, that's kind of sad. Like, schools and stuff are underfunded, and that people should be learning and experimenting more.
Sure, but they also have, like, they have a university where you can, like, learn.
Which we know nothing about.
They have people who are
nothing.
But we do. We know a lot through Mercy, right? They have scientists who are doing studies on crime statistics and
we know like the side of it that is specific to policing and fighting crime.
Sure, but I'm saying that, like, if there is a university, then there are people doing the thinking. That work is being done. Just because they don't specifically have a radio doesn't mean that there aren't people developing the things that this culture needs. Because they built cars. Like, I don't think we are... I think that we are so used to cars.
Really something they need.
But we're all so used to cars, I don't think we all appreciate what a fucking miracle cars are.
Sure.
Like, combustion is a miracle. It is a thing that human beings pulled out of the ground and turned into an energy that has created unbelievable things possible. Cars are magic. We're just so used to them that now I have a hybrid car that has a computer screen in it that has more power than the space shuttle, that we're like, oh, well, yeah, but like, of course they have cars. Everybody has. No, cars are magic. Like, this is a society that made fucking magic cars. And I don't know. There's just something weird about him being like, well, you guys are like really behind. I'm like, they've got vehicles. I don't know. Garen Barros, thank you for that super chat. He seems to be talking mostly to himself, and he is God. He might be seeing things that don't translate without a context that is only his own. Sure.
Yeah.
He might see the real world. I don't know. Like, it just seems
Earth might be a Cosmere planet.
It felt weirdly like he was comparing it to our world. But now that chat said that we got radios and cars like within a year of each other, I think it's really weird that they were supposed to have radios 100 years ago.
Yeah, but they're also supposed to have cars a long time ago too.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
That's like they have been. Everything has been slowed down. Not just like specific things. Which honestly, here's the thing. Like, maybe that isn't a bad thing. Like, there's
and that is the other side of it,
well,
right?
Well, like, you know, our planet, our version of humanity has expanded at a rate that is not sustainable. We're kind of fucked.
Well, and that's why the planes, like, that's why when he says planes, the thing that I bring up is like, where are you going? Why do humans need to be everywhere, Sazed? Why is that the goal? Why isn't you guys live in one place really well the goal of humanity? Isn't that better than what we're doing? Like, isn't having one basin that humanity thrives in and the rest of the world is beautiful and untouched and has trees that create oxygen better than strip mining the Congo? Like, isn't that a good world? Why do we want to fucking rip everything out of the ground? Why is that what we're supposed to be doing in God's eyes?
Yeah.
I look around and I'm like, I don't know that what we're doing is the best. I don't know that covering the world in concrete is the best thing for us or for anybody, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think that it's just a weird I don't know, it's a weird sentiment.
I mean, that is one of those things that's going to be so individualized. Which is...
Yeah. This is super subjective. And we spent 30 minutes on it.
No, but I think we got to some really interesting points. And I don't think that... Like, I don't think that this point is going to disappear in the series. I think it's going to be important. And I think maybe it also has something to do with Bleeder's motivations. Mm-hmm. Like, Bleeder clearly knows things that we don't. So...
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Anyway, so that's 30 minutes on one line in the first chapter of the reading this week. Welcome to the Nerdy Wordy Book Club. How is this we've done this show for over 3 years and people still watch it. Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I don't know. I thought that was an interesting conversation.
Oh, the conversation ends with Harmony being like, hey, also, chill the fuck out on Marcy. She works for me too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was very funny. I love that God was like, hey, you need to just stop. Just word of advice. So we cut to Marcy.
Yeah.
Who's with all the constables. And they are questioning the guy who tried to kill the governor and failed.
Yeah.
He had a set of bracers, so they were like, oh, he's definitely metal-born. Pardon me. But then Wax shows up, and he, like, pushes on them, and he's like, no, those are fake. They move different.
Wax is such an asshole in this scene.
Yeah.
He's such a prick.
Yeah.
I was like, dude... You're all on the same team, my guy.
Yeah.
Wax is actually like Wax is so single-minded in what he's trying to accomplish. And the first book didn't show how much of an asshole he is, but he's an asshole sometimes.
He doesn't interact with that many people.
No.
Right?
But goddamn, like he will wait until people feel stupid to explain things that are simple, but they have no reason to know.
Well, to be fair, he just showed up.
No, I know, but he pushes on them and is like, "Oh, yeah, no, he's not a fair chemist. You guys are idiots." And they're like, "What? But how do you? What?"
He's like, "You don't have my magic superpowers."
And then he waits until 2 sentences too long, and then is like, "These I'm surrounded by morons. Ferrochemical metals are heavier than non-ferrochemical metals."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh my god, dude."
I love that Arzu says there's a holy mandate to be nice to Marcy. Yeah, literally from God.
Literally.
So yeah, not a ferrochemist. This guy's just he's just losing it a bit.
Spencer D says, "God says, chill out, Wax. You're all on the same team," and then Wax immediately ignores them.
Pretty much.
But again, like I said at the beginning of book club, I like this. Wax being an ass and being kind of so determined and single-minded is a flaw of his.
Yeah.
And that wasn't in the first book, right? And I think that it makes him a more three-dimensional character. It makes him not just a superhero.
Yeah.
It makes him more of a real person, and I can get more attached to him being an asshole than I can if he's just fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Because that's boring, right? I don't want to read perfect characters. Yeah. I find that to be just fucking, like, it's like taking a drill bit to the temple. I want these characters to be people.
Yeah.
And this moment, he feels like one, right? Like, he walks in, he comes in hot. And, Marcy, more than anyone, suffers the consequences of that. And that is fucking privilege.
Yeah.
The white man does a bunch of bullshit, and the woman that is tangentially attached to him, tangentially at best, like literally occasionally works with the guy, is the person who suffers all the consequences for his bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much. And she just takes it. She's like, there's not much I can do about that. They don't like him, so they take it out on me, and it is what it is. But the guy does have a coin in his arm from Bleeder, which is really fucked up. He's like, yeah, hey, look, you're not going to save the governor, but I have a gift for you. And they take a coin out of his arm.
Yeah.
Which is a very special coin. And chapter 8, we get a flashback. Let's go.
Yeah, so, this flashback is where things are going to it starts to get a little weird. Because how long has Bleeder been following this child? The Bleeder left a coin in this guy that is a coin that is a misprint.
Yeah.
And misprints in the coin community are fucking money. If you find a coin that is slightly wrong, oh boy, you can sell that.
You're
shit
rich.
Straight cash money.
Yeah.
And this was the first time where I was like, oh, Brandon Sanderson collects coins, doesn't he?
Maybe.
Yeah. He comes across like a coin boy. We find out about this coin because we see Wax go to the bank with his uncle on bring your nephew to work day. And Edwarn is like, I want you to see 2 things. And he walks into what clearly have to be wildly staged conversations.
Yeah, because the fact that he opens up each one at the exact moment that you get just enough relevant information to understand what's going on in 2 sentences is actual magic. So Edwarn can predict the future.
So there's basically tunnels in the walls.
Spy holes.
Yeah, if you saw Blue-Eyed Samurai, it's like that. And where you can watch what's going on in the in these rooms. And he literally opens the holes for 2 sentences.
Yeah.
And it is the most relevant 2 sentences to the lesson he's trying to part on Wax. There's a guy who is trying to get money so that him and his kids can get out of the slums so that they can have better jobs.
They want better jobs. They want a loan for the house.
Yeah. They don't have much in collateral, but they want a loan to improve their lives.
Yes. And then in the other slot, it's Elon Musk trying to get his 30-second yacht.
Yeah, I think it's his 3rd boat.
Yeah. He likes boats.
Which, they have boats, says Ed.
I mean, yeah, we've had boats forever. You can put a fucking bunch of sticks together with rope and a sail and call it a boat.
They have boats.
Yeah.
No, but these are boats that you need a loan to buy.
Okay, the Greeks also made really pretty boats.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
And guess where the Greeks went? A lot of fucking places. They conquered a lot of... I don't know if you know this about the Greeks. Conquered a lot of people.
Yeah, but they didn't have the radio, so...
Nope, they didn't. And so the ethics violations of these peepholes are insane. The ethics violations of allowing a child... I know, yeah. But if the rich people found out about them, this bank would go under so fast.
Edwarn is the rich people.
No, Edwarn is, like, second-tier rich. Edwarn is not rich.
No, he's, like, first-tier rich. The guy trying to buy the boats is, like, second-tier rich. And if the second-tier rich people found out, yeah, they'd be upset. But they'd be like, I can't take on the first-tier rich people.
No, if Edwarn was top-tier rich, then he would just do what he wants. And he wouldn't need the set. No, he would have kept his position. Edwarn is second-tier rich. Because he wants to be first-tier rich. That's what the whole plot of this... If he was the rich, if he was like the tippity top, yeah. Then he wouldn't need the set because he would already be where he wants to get to. He would have all the power in the world. The rich, like, Edwarn can't be in tier 1 because if he was in tier 1, why would he leave tier 1 to try and get back to tier 1?
Did he leave?
He's
always been part of the
faked his death and then walked away so that he could... And walked away from his title so that he could fight to get back to being at the top of society. But
he's not fighting to get back. He left his title because he didn't need it because he's got power and money in the set. And
he wants power. He wants power. The set is about getting power.
He has power.
He has some power, but he doesn't have the power he wants. That's what he says to Wax at the end of this reading.
Knows the moment that, like, Wax, like, leaves letters for him. He's got, like, all this fancy shit.
No, but he wants society power, right? And so he wants to get to tier 1. So he can't have started in tier 1 or else why would he be doing any of this? If he was already at the point where he's so rich he could just change shit on a whim, why would he do anything?
I don't think anyone is so rich that they can change shit on a whim at this point. Like, the noble families are all kind of like tier 1, but tier 1 in this world is not tier 1 in our world. Like, tier 1 is still the richest of the rich, but it's more people because it's different noble families. So it's like distributed a little bit differently.
He is Elon Musk in it, brother Araman. You are right. Underscore, thank you for that super chat. Wax's Mary Poppins bank scene moment. Yes.
Yeah, literally.
It is literally Mary Poppins.
It's like 100% what it is.
The Greeks really should have had the radio by now. PT is correct. They really should have had the radio by now. It is wild to go to Greece and they just don't have the radio.
They don't have the radio. It's so wild.
Have you ever flown on a Greek plane? The pilots are just guessing. They can't talk to the tower. They have no idea what's going on. They still flag them in.
Do we not do that anymore?
No.
I thought you had people on the runway.
Oh, when they're taxiing a little bit? Yeah, but not when they're landing.
No, I just thought...
There isn't a guy standing there as a jumbo jet like flies overhead and lands.
I don't know.
What?
I just know you can get paid well for that job, so
to be on the runways, but there's no one standing on the runways where you're landing. There's only there's people like in the like taxi areas to line up the gates and whatnot.
All right.
Yeah. Sure. Can you imagine like a 747 landing over somebody's head? The sheer actually I think you would just die, right? I think the sheer amount of air pressure that would be displaced as the thing lands over you would probably just fucking send you flying.
Couldn't tell you. No idea.
What year did Greeks invent the car? That's a great PT. That's a question we need an answer to. So
Judah, thank you for that super chat. Smackhead, can't believe Breeze's descendant created predatory banks and late-stage capitalism. I wonder if he'd be ashamed of Edwarn. Like both. I think he'd be
a little proud.
Yeah, he'd be very impressed, but also a little ashamed.
This isn't really late-stage capitalism, right? Though this is like early-stage capitalism. This is like Rockefellers. You know, this is a stage of capitalism we're way past.
Yeah, this is like 60 years ago for us.
Yeah. This is the Rockefellers and the oil baron kind of capitalism. It feels like they're headed into the Roaring 20s. You know what I mean? Like they're about to have the Roaring 20s.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna have the Great Depression. And then, you know...
Or this is the start of the Great Depression.
See, this feels more like the tensions that led to World War I. to me.
Yeah, but they don't have a world, so they can't have a world war.
Which is why, like, they're not going to have as much... like, they need wars to develop new technologies. I hate to say it, but, like,
wild.
That's kind of how that works.
Shit!
Judah Canizares!
What?
Did you read this one?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we did. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Thank you.
Shin, thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships.
Shin, thank you. That's very sweet.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Lots of people can go list all the chapter reactions.
So many chapter reactions.
Anyway.
Wonder how many we've done in total so far.
I can tell you.
Like, it's hundreds.
I can tell you the exact number.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's easy.
Like between Patreon and YouTube?
Well, they're all on YouTube.
Oh.
There's none that aren't on YouTube. YouTube members have access to all of the chapter reactions. We've done 148.
Wow, that seems low. Thought we'd done more.
That seems low?
Yeah, I thought we'd done more because, like, fucking Stormlight Book 2 was, like, 40 chapters by itself.
Yeah, but we weren't really doing a lot in the Wheel of Time era.
No, that's true. I wonder...
Wait, what? Oh,
I wonder if we'd let y'all go crazy in the Wheel of Time era for audiobook reactions, like how many chapters we would have reacted to.
Oh, in the Wheel... I wish we'd been doing this in Wheel of Time. We would have made way more money. We started with Oathbringer.
Yeah.
Well, no, that can't be right.
No, we definitely... Yeah, so this doesn't include any of the Wheel of Time
Oh, no,
ones.
these are in the wrong order.
Oh, good. Love that for us. You're welcome.
We started with A Memory of Light?
Nope.
Nope, Towers of Midnight.
These are totally just out of order. I love that.
Towers of Midnight might be the first book where we did an audiobook reaction.
No, the first book we did an audiobook reaction had to have been Lords of Chaos because literally our banner photo is the, like, moment that the Ashman show up.
No, right, it was Dumai's Wells.
Yes, it was Dumai's Wells.
That's not in this playlist. All right, yeah. I will try and figure that out at some point,
We're
guys.
really good at this. You're welcome.
Yeah, we must be north of 200 then.
That's what I mean. I was like, that seems low.
Wow.
Like, it was like a third of that is fucking Words of Radiance.
How many chapters do you think are going to get commissioned for Wind and Truth?
I don't know. I don't trust y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all are mad lads.
You would have been made to react to the last chapter battle? We actually offered that. And no one commissioned it. No, we did. It was I think we said it was like $1,200.
Did we?
We were like, we'll do it for like I think we said we would do it for like $1,000.
Yeah.
And
honestly, that would have been so long. Like.
Yeah, but no one did it.
No. I'm glad.
And honestly, I'm glad too. I'm glad because I audiobooked and read the last battle at the same time.
It was a lot.
Following along was tough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we had free reactions, like one for each Wheel of Time book after book 6. So,
yeah, I'll have to find those.
So those are somewhere.
I know they're on Patreon, but
great.
We might not have been posting. I don't think we did YouTube members then.
No, we didn't have YouTube members,
I can't remember.
No, because we had Nargs.
You said you would do it, then reneged. I would have commissioned it otherwise.
Yeah, I was pretty sure we were like that would be a miserable experience.
Oh, no. What wasn't it? No, we were out of town or something.
I mean, that's also probably.
It fell in a weird way, yeah. Anyway. So the point of the flashback is that Wax.
Yeah.
Wax's uncle is like, who do you think we're going to give money to? The rich guy or the poor guy? And Wax is like the rich guy because he's got collateral. And his uncle's like, you are a dumb idiot kid.
Yeah.
We're going to give money to both. And then we're going to put terms on the poor person's loan that are so awful that we're going to create a slave class. See, don't you want to be a banker? And Wax is like, no, what?
It's like, no, why would I want to do that?
Wait, your plan is to turn people into slaves? What the fuck is wrong with you? And his uncle's like, I don't understand why that's weird.
Why are you upset about
Doesn't that sound awesome?
I don't know how, I don't see the issue here. Edwarn gives, at this point, Wax before, gives him the coin that's, like, different, and Wax is able to unfocus his eyes and, like, tell that it's different. And then he's like, this is worth a lot of money. So Wax takes the coin, and he runs to the poor guy trying to get a loan for his house and tries to give it to him. And Edwarn shows up and is like, oh, no, this guy's an idiot. Don't worry about it. Here's your loan.
And then that guy killed himself.
Yeah. Yeah, like what? Like 20 years later or something?
No, like 8, I think. It wasn't that long after. It can't have been 20. Wax isn't.
It was one of the things that made Wax leave for the Roughs, which was like
8 years later. I was right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so Wax is younger than I thought.
No, Wax was in the Roughs for a long time.
I thought he was only in the Roughs for like 8 years.
How old is Wax?
I thought people were saying that he's like 40, but that can't be if that's the case.
No, because he would be 13 plus 16. He'd be.
Do we know how long Wax spent in the Roughs?
He'd only be 29. No. 13 plus 6. Yeah, 30 plus 16, 29.
Yeah, no, I'm a little bit confused on that.
I mean, he'd be barely older than Steris.
This guy would have killed himself when Wax was 20. And he said he left for the Roughs shortly after. Like, that was one of the things.
So he would have left the Roughs at 21, and then he was in the Roughs for 20 years?
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. That is far longer than I thought that he spent there.
See, that's what I thought. And so when you said that, I was surprised. Because I thought he lived out in the... Because he, like, married Leslie and, like... he was out in the Roughs long enough that he became a, like, figure of myth. You know what I mean? Like...
Sure,
that they started to teach what he was doing in university.
I thought it was, like, 8 to 10 years. But I'm definitely off the money there.
And so the reason this story comes up is that Wax is telling Steris all this on the way to the party.
They're going to the party!
And the problem is, this party has a big old line. And so it's at the top of a tower, which is always the best place to have a party, says the caterer who...
Loves stairs. Great knees.
It's not that I love stairs. It's when you have your shit at the top of a tower like this... Like, okay, I used to work at the top of the Freedom Tower a lot, which was very cool. And, like, you know what? I catered, like, the first party at the top of the Freedom Tower, which was, like, kind of a crazy cool experience. It was still under construction, and I felt very cool. I had to, like, have a background check to do it. But when you make people get that much food and equipment up an elevator, we have to show up so much earlier to prepare. Like, it makes our day so much harder because we can't just leave shit on the truck and go get it. Everything has to get off the truck before the party starts, get taken up an elevator. And so, just as a caterer, just choose stuff closer to the ground floor. You're gonna make your caterer so much happier. People worked all day to make this party happen. Like, you have no idea the effort that goes into the planning of how people... Now, granted, not as hard in this world because, you know, they don't have to go through, like...
People can fly.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's, like, caterers. Like, I don't know how many caterers are going to be
probably
shots,
not many.
but probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But people can fly.
And so Wax does. He's like, fuck this shit. Steris, hop on. And then he takes to the sky. And this...
I love that Steris accounted for all of the traffic.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I know that this is, like, a new spot. Like, people aren't prepared to get this many people in and out of this party. I know, like, the route that we're going to take and the traffic we're going to encounter. And she's only off by, like, 6 minutes.
Have we said yet that we fucking love Steris?
She's great.
Oh, my
Absolutely
God.
Love Steris.
Philip says, was it a good party? I mean, they tipped me $200. So, yeah.
So, yes.
I was making $45 an hour and they tipped me $200. It was one of the best parties I ever worked.
Damn, okay.
Oh,
I'm sure you're working at least 8 hours, too.
No, God, no. It's like 11 and a half.
I said at least 8 hours and you said, God, no.
I just meant it was a very, very, very long day. No, it was crazy. Well, and because we got extra money we had to literally had to have a background check.
Yeah.
And then security and it was crazy. I had like a fucking like Freedom Tower security guard looking at my wine key and like the knife on it being like, I don't know, man. And I was like the first guy in line and I was looking back, I was like, we all have one. We're going to be opening wine bottles all night. Like,
yeah, we kind of need this.
It's one of the things I have to bring to my job.
Yeah.
PT says $45 an hour. What kind of waiting are you doing? White glove, like very, very fancy. It was for like some major law office. But it's like the kind of service where like we literally would there were 20 of us. Every single person at the table had their own waiter, and like plates were picked up in like at the exact same moment, and it was a very particular kind of catering that I worked my way up to.
Yeah.
And I liked white glove service. It pays very well and it's very stressful.
You're like, yeah, give me that stress.
It's the kind of service where when your person sits down, you have to stand there and figure out what color their pants are, and then provide them with a napkin that is the same color as the color of their pants.
That's so goofy.
Well, no, it's because the threads of the napkin will affect the color. It's like a yeah. Anyway.
Why are the napkins not washed and had the excess dye washed out of them?
No, this is a thing in fine dining. That you have blue napkins, brown napkins, white napkins, and you provide a napkin the same color as the pants of the...
What if they wore a pink suit?
Then you give them white. Yeah.
Wow. That is the goofiest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
No, white napkins are a thing, but white pants are very rare. Like, there aren't a lot of people who sit down in white pants. Usually it's brown, blue, or black.
Wash your garments if you're worried about them bleeding dye.
They can afford new pants. Anyway, yeah, I worked a lot of really weird catering jobs, okay? And I enjoyed it. I like that work. I liked getting to do different... I like serving. Like, I really enjoyed working in restaurants, but I liked... catering was fun because it was always different. Like,
yeah.
The restaurants I worked in, you're doing the same thing every day. And catering would be wildly different. Especially in New York, where there's so many cool venues you get to work at. I worked in the botanical gardens a lot, and like serving in the botanical gardens around all the flowers. It was just beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did to survive. Yeah. So they fly. But the problem with Wax is that Wax is a pusher and not a puller.
Uh-huh.
And so he gets far away from the building, which is fine, usually, because he can just shoot his shotgun away from the building and push himself back in by making himself weigh less, which seems wildly dangerous in a city.
There would just be like bullets like lying around everywhere.
Just buckshot falling from the sky randomly.
Yeah.
But like Wax's when the constables later in this book are like, yeah, Wax just kind of makes messes and expects us to clean them up. I'm like, there's a good chance Wax has accidentally shot somebody.
Yeah.
But
it's a non-zero chance.
He doesn't need to do that anymore because he is literally, thanks to Renette, he is turning into Batman as he pulls out a grappling hook.
He gets a grappling hook from Renette. Let's fucking go. So he's able to like pull himself towards the tower.
Like push it because it's metal, so he's able to push it to the tower, and then use that as his way of getting up onto the building.
Yeah.
Which accounts for the weight difference that he has because he can't make Steris lighter.
Oh yes, right. Yeah. Very important.
And so they go to the party at the top of the skyscraper.
Chapter 9.
I really expect him to have a cowl by the final book.
With bat ears on it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So Wayne and Mercy...
Icky says the first book starts with him accidentally shooting someone, doesn't it?
I mean...
That's so funny. It's so dark. But you're so right.
You're not wrong, though. Wayne and Mercy are trying to get to this party. They talk about the spike that they found in the assassin's chest. When they took it out, he calmed down a lot, but he still was like kind of fucked up.
Bleeder is using hemalurgic spikes to riot people, basically.
Yeah. Anyways, the bouncers won't let Wayne and Mercy into the party.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, they're like, no, you guys are like specifically not allowed. And Wayne is like, okay, bet. So he throws up, oh no, sorry, he doesn't know they're specifically not allowed in. He throws up a speedball, he goes and he checks the lists.
Yeah.
Right, and they are on the do not allow in list, fuck you. And so he decides to pull a different name from the list to impersonate. And it just so happens to be this professor who's always invited to things and never shows up because he's very busy.
The inventor of the automobile. It's Henry Ford.
What? You sure? Yeah.
It's the guy who invented the automobile.
This guy is?
Yeah, he accidentally picks the guy who invented the car.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah. And then I made a Henry Ford joke because I know Henry Ford didn't like how
I
much.
thought he was like a mathematician.
But he invented. The book says he invented the automobile. He's like studying shit. Isn't that right?
Oh, I guess I missed that he invented the car. I don't know.
That's yeah. He invented the car.
All right.
The book said that, right?
His name is not Henry Ford, though.
No, Henry Ford is a real person.
Yeah, no, yeah, which is why I was very confused.
I was just making a joke. The combustion engine. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, it's a very super smart guy that Wayne definitely knows the science things that this guy knows for sure. This is going to go swimmingly.
Yeah, they run off and find a book on contemporary sciences so that Wayne can brush up on it might be the most ridiculous thing in this is that they bought a book on like contemporary sciences and understood any of it.
They're not that far advanced, so I don't know.
Marcy might have. She's like, I studied this in school.
Marcy's very smart. While Wayne and Marcy are trying to get into the party, Wax and Steris are they're there. They're walking around. They do fly in, and the guards are like very aware who Wax is, so they don't, raise the alarm. But they don't seem very happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of allomantic medals displayed around, and there's like an empty podium for atium, which I thought was very funny. They were like, a podium for atium, and I was like, what? And I was like, oh no, it's empty. It's a
for now
artsy thing. I don't know if atium's coming back. But
the fourth book is called The Lost Medal.
That's true.
The book is called The Lost Medal. You're telling me you're gonna call something The Lost Medal for 3 books, and you're gonna call a book The Lost Medal, and we're never gonna find it?
It has nothing to do with atium. That would be actually hilarious. I would find that very
The Lost
funny.
Medal is the friends we made along the way.
Yeah. Steris doesn't like the mist coat.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, this is a little, what's the word? Like, beneath you? What?
That company finally got that thing. The company that's sending us the game.
Yeah.
They finally got it, and they just shipped it.
Oh my god, great. We're not gonna be here. I love it.
But we're also I'm gonna have to film some stuff in that week that we're back for them.
Yeah, great. Fucking Christ.
Somebody kill me.
We're too busy.
Is there anyone in Toronto that can just like drive by our house while we're in LA and like make sure our packages don't get stolen?
No, we're not doing that. You should have given them the P.O. box address.
You know what? I didn't think about it because they were supposed to have it in November.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyways, Wax is walking around with his little steel bubble up so that he can see, well, anyone with metal.
And also because he thinks the bleeder's here and he doesn't want to get shot.
That's also true.
Yeah, he's really worried about someone moving at the speed of...
Yeah. Wax
something.
and Steris do a little bit of the flirt. And it goes pretty well.
She's so... Oh my god, you guys.
She's
We
great.
have not talked enough about how much we love Steris today.
Yeah. She like writes down like funny things.
There's
that
also
she
the
preps.
moment when they're flying.
Yeah.
When he's like, close your eyes. And she's like, no, I want to experience this. And she's like getting wet. And he's like, oh, Steris, you surprise me.
Yeah. Oh.
And she's like, no, I need to be interested in the things that you're interested in. And I'm like, goddamn, Steris is the best woman ever. This character rocks. Steris is my favorite character in these books. I'm completely infatuated. Yeah. Over the moon.
She's great. Honestly, 10 out of 10. No notes.
Yeah. 1,000%. I'm a Steris stan.
all of the notes that she takes.
Yeah, she has a lot
all
of
the time.
I have no notes for her, but she definitely has notes for me.
She has all of the notes.
Steris could make this podcast better. She would listen to one episode and be like, boom, 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 boom,
Here's how you need to get
Do
good.
not spend 30 minutes on what Sazed said in the carriage. And I'd be like, fuck, that's the exact thing I did.
Oh, God. Anyways, she's got like some prepared one-liners, which are so far all bangers.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to talk to the governor. They go to get in line. And there's a woman who...
Yeah, think of that super chat. Steris is best girl.
Thank you for that super chat. It's true. That is just straight facts. There's a woman who introduces herself who's like real hot. Like Wax is like, wow, goddamn, that's a lot of woman. Why is she flirting with me in front of my fiance? Like that's pretty ballsy. Anyways, not important. Not gonna come back later. He literally just like gives her like a look and she leaves because she's so uncomfortable because Wax is terrible with people. But they go talk to
He's
the
also
governor.
with his fiance.
Yeah.
Like he is doing the right thing here, which is to be like, I'm good.
I just love that it's not like a excuse us. It's like a
Well, he's waiting for her to ask a good question.
You gonna say something?
Yeah.
No? Move the fuck along.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
I feel like, is her name Christina Hendricks? The redhead from, Mad Men.
I don't know.
I feel like she'd be good in this part.
Oh, okay.
Scott C says, I see all of my autism in her prepped conversations. Me too. I said it in the audiobook, but I was like, oh my god, this is me. I do this literally all the time. And Clarice will, like, walk up on me practicing conversations I think I'm about to have.
Well, and it's really like it's really beautiful how it's grown because you used to like kind of like whisper and like mutter really quietly, like only like a word would come out and I'd be like, what? You'd be like, oh no, nothing, never mind. Now I hear you having like fully voiced like conversations with yourself.
If I think you're far away in the house, I will do that.
No, that's not true at all.
What do you mean? I don't do it when you're like in the room.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I don't notice.
Yeah. You also do it in the shower while
I do it
I'm
lot in the shower.
like sitting there doing my makeup so I can hear everything.
Oh, great. That's awesome. That's I thought the shower protected me a little bit more than it clearly does. That's awesome. Cool. Good to know.
Yeah. No, it's
I thought the shower was a safe place to practice conversations I thought I was going to have later in the day.
You can do it wherever you want.
But I don't want you to hear them because they might be conversations I plan on having with you. I don't want you to hear me practicing.
But then I can prepare, you know what I mean?
No, that's not fair. You're not autistic. You don't need it.
What do you mean I don't need it?
You don't need to practice your conversations before you have them. That's a me thing.
Okay.
I've never seen you practice conversations before you have them before.
Oh, I've never done it out loud, but when I am practicing conversations in my head, my face will move.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really awkward on, like, the train, because sometimes I'll just catch myself, like, making faces on the train at nothing, and then I'm like, oh, no, that's not, no,
Cool.
We're not doing that.
Cool. Great. So the shower's not safe. I might start showering downstairs, you guys.
What do you mean? You literally, like... Okay, so you will sing and you will belt and you will do any of that, like full voice.
I don't care if you hear me singing. I care if you hear me practicing an awkward conversation I might have to have later on in the day. Yeah, those are different things. Those are vastly different experiences for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Spencer D says it's okay if she hears, she'll forget before you have the conversation for real.
That is true.
So true. Why didn't I think of it that way?
That is 100% true.
Yeah, okay, so Milan leaves. What do you think Milan in this context is a reference to as a name?
The city? Isn't it is it
yeah,
a
but it's a city in our world.
No.
They don't have a Milan.
What do you think Marcy is a reference to? I don't fucking know.
It's not a word from our real world. Milan being like the sexy woman is funny to me because in our world, Milan is where like the sexy fashion show happens.
Oh, sure.
And so I was like...
But her name was Milan in Era 1.
Sure.
Before she was a sexy woman.
I know, it just I didn't rub up against it when she wasn't a sexy woman like a fashion lady.
Coincidence.
Wayne is playing the part of Professor Hanlanaze, and they did get into the party. And what? Oh, I saw this comment. Spencer D says Marcy is probably a reference to Mayor Kelsier's wife. That's actually probably a really common name.
Oh.
Marcy, yeah, being a reference to the survivor's wife who died.
I don't think anyone... The weird thing about, like, Mare is that, like, that was so far before he was famous. I actually don't know...
Yeah, but Les Bornis knew it.
Okay, fair.
Like, the people that founded this world knew her name.
No, yeah, that's
I
fair.
guarantee she is mentioned in the founding documents. Yeah. I don't think that these... Yeah, I don't think the stories of the survivor are there, and they would just leave his wife unnamed.
No, I think that's fair.
So. Wayne is. Yeah, so they get Wayne is trying to get the most food out of this party, by being a nuisance to the caterers.
Yeah, he's like timed when they are making their rounds. And he goes in the direction, like, to grab all of the food that he possibly can while they're bringing it out.
Because he's a child, and he needs a minder. And he's
a hungry boy.
Yeah. He runs into a guy who's like, you motherfucker.
He's like, I never see you at these parties.
But it starts off with a, like, you motherfucker, and Wayne's like, fuck, I got caught. And he's like, Professor Handlinaise, and he's like, oh, shit.
Oh.
I did a great job.
Wow.
This was a good little costume.
I've never seen the guy, and I feel like I nailed that look.
And so they he puts up a speed bubble, and he's like, what do I say to this guy? And she's like, man, I don't know. And so he drops the speed bubble, and is like, yeah, no, we don't, we are like 3 years ahead of you on like this research we're doing in this stuff.
Well, because the guy was like, what do you think about my paper on this or something?
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, that? Oh, we're already working on this, so fuck you. And the guy's like, what? And he literally leaves the party immediately to go start researching something. It was great.
Yeah.
We go back to Wax and Steris with the governor. And Wax is like, hey, so that assassination attempt was just a distraction. Things are about to get way worse. I'm going to explain everything to you. We just need to, like, meet somewhere that's, not the middle of a party, right? Then Wax starts hearing voices, and he just rudely walks away.
Before we get to the voices, because that's going to lead into the next thing, we have to talk about how Drat was like, I'm sorry about your friend. We turned him away, and we did not let him into the party. We told him he was not allowed to be here. And Wax is like, thank God.
Yeah, and Steris is like, wait, aren't you worried? And he's like, oh, no.
No.
They made sure that Wayne would try to get in here. I was worried this would be too boring for him, but now I know he's definitely here. Yeah,
if Wayne would have gotten bored, he would have left.
Yeah.
But because they made it a challenge, he is definitely already inside this party.
Yeah.
I almost wish that moment had come before we knew that Wayne was in the party. Or no, maybe it did. Actually, it might have.
Did it?
Yeah, it might have been after the Milan stuff. It might have gone Milan, Drat, Wayne stuff, and then the governor conversation.
Not sure.
Yeah, I can't remember when it was. He really is a child. He really is Skepcat. Yeah, it did happen before. I'm remembering it wrong because we were talking about the wrong order. And so, yeah, Wax suddenly hears a voice in his head and begins to walk around the party talking to himself because Bleeder's
in his head.
Can speak to him while his earring is in, which means that she has taken a piece of ruin.
She's figured some shit out.
I think I have a theory for what is happening here.
Oh.
I do. And I think that it's going to be related to the fourth book being called The Lost Metal.
Okay.
Oh! Hey, Dr. Avenue, thank you for buying the Kamina Drummer t-shirt from The Expanse.
Thank you.
I did not realize that one had a noise.
Well, yeah. No, I don't know if it came through for you guys, but we definitely heard it.
Well, they can, yeah.
I guess, yeah, if the mic picked it up. Yeah, thanks for getting a t-shirt.
Didn't know that our Fourth Wall notifications had a alert. If you want a Kamina Drummer shirt or Go with Grunge shirt or, any of our other merch, it's all over there on Fourth Wall.
Love that for us.
Yeah, the URL's a nightmare. We need to fix that. So go down into the doobly-doo and just click on it. Wax. Okay. My theory. My theory is that because Preservation had a physical body with Atium, right?
Okay.
Ruin also has a physical body somewhere. It just wasn't found in the first Mistborn Era. And so there is a metal that is related to Ruin. Sorry, Ruin was Atium. Fuck. Then my theory still works. The Atium, she doesn't have an allomantic spike in at the moment. She has an Atium spike And because Atium is ruin, it gives her the ability to communicate in his head.
I mean, the problem is we do see her in the same scene speedrunning.
When does she speedrun?
And talking later when she tries to go kill the governor again. She speedruns. So she can't have both spikes in at the same time. Unless having an Atium spike in means that Sazed cannot control her. So maybe she's not... maybe she does actually have 2 in, but 1 is an Atium spike, which prevents the preservation side. Well, no, because it was Ruin that was able to control the...
Yeah.
No, yeah, okay. Okay.
Fuck.
Interesting.
My theory's wrong.
It's
Unless she switched to the speeding in the carriage when she got all monstrous. Remember the carriage driver was like, I looked in the carriage and she was transforming? That might have been when she switched to the speed bubble spike.
No, because she talks to Wax.
Later, but not during the speed bubbling.
Yeah, in that same scene when he chases her. Yeah.
No, the waiter guy was a decoy, but Bleeder was still at the party. Right? Bleeder had to be at the party to talk to Wax in his ear here. I was just like, if her spike was part of the body of Ruin, then it would make sense that she has the ability to talk to him. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, okay, my theory might be wrong. That sucks. I thought it was a good one.
I mean, I dig it. There might be some pieces of it that work.
And so Wax begins. Oh no, actually, we go to Wayne first. And
some girl comes up and slaps him and accuses him of stealing her father's invention, and that she's going to, write papers and discredit him and give her father the credit that he deserves.
What's up, Tesla's daughter? How you doing? And he gets real sad because it reminds him of the fact that...
wait, your dad is dead because of me? God damn it. Yeah, I'm really good at that, actually.
Wayne is slowly turning into Sherlock, not being able to tell himself apart from the people he's impersonating.
Oh my god, yeah.
And he's gonna try and find Wax. And Wax is walking around, and he does a loop trying to figure out who's following him, and he thinks it's this waiter. And he tackles the waiter, but the guy jumps out the window. And so he was definitely a decoy, and so he had a PTSD moment. Yeah, he definitely did. And Wax is gonna chase around and tells Wayne to save the governor. They gotta figure out what's going on. Wax jumps out and he falls all the way down to the ground. But of course, coin shot, that doesn't mean shit. He can stop it. And so he tries to figure out what way this person would have gone. And there's a car that takes off. And so he's like, you know what? Gonna follow that. And so as he's following it around, he eventually destroys the car. Lands on it, breaking it. And the cabbie's like, they got out 2 blocks back. This is the most Batman shit Wax does, which is just rampantly destroy somebody else's property.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, the government will pay for it probably.
Yeah, he's like,
you have insurance, right?
Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll cover the cost of the car. Sorry about that.
Yeah. And he keeps chasing. He goes back to where the person got out of the cab and is like, it's weird. Feels like a trap.
And then it's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap.
And then it's a trap. There's a bunch of guys who run out.
Yeah.
And they try and shoot him.
Yeah. They have aluminum bullets, so Wax is able to quickly deduce this must be the Sets people, Why are they working with a Condra who wants to bring down the government? I don't know. And they end up just kind of getting him cornered. There's just too many of them. And someone steps in to help. And I was like, how the fuck did Wayne get here? This is dumb. This makes no fucking sense. It's not Wayne. That's why it makes sense. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Because this was about to be convenient as all hell.
Yeah.
If Wayne had somehow gotten out of the party, down onto the street, run around, found the building wax, I was like, that'd be wild.
Yeah.
Nope, it's not. It's fucking Milan.
Yeah.
It's the hot lady.
It's the hot lady that God sent.
I can't wait for Ana de Armas to crush this part in the movie.
Yeah, right.
Because this is the most, like, Ana de Armas's cameo scene from the Bond film, No Time to Die.
Oh, God.
She has a great 10 minutes in that movie.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Anyways, she's great. She's badass. This is a really cool fight scene.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that we reacted to this. Because there was so much going on. But like how they were able to work together, and she's like, oh, there's snipers, and they he runs out of ammo, so then he has to use Renette's hook. He literally goes full Batman.
So violent.
Yeah, just like fucking grappling hooks the shit out of these guys.
Being able to increase the speed at which a grappling hook is flying into people is crazy. Arzu is right. Milan takes a gun out of her boobs.
Yeah, the reason that she's got like giant mommy milkers is so that she can hide stuff and store things in there, which like that's so fair.
Well, and Milan isn't using a real body, right? She's using a true body. That's a confusing sentence, but true bodies are ones that they make for themselves.
I was like, it's definitely confusing if you have not read Era 1.
Yeah. And so she literally was like, oh yeah, I gave myself massive titties.
Yeah.
So that I can just like have a purse. And you know, a lot of women keep shit in their bras. This is the next evolution of womanhood.
Yeah. When I used to wear bras, that's where I would keep my phone.
Your phone?
Yeah, like everyone did.
It just feels like cancer.
That was definitely a concern. Yeah. People were like, maybe we don't do that. And, you know, we were like 15, anyway. So we were like, fuck it. Yeah, no, I you know, when phones were like this big or whatever.
Yeah.
You just like tuck them in there, and then you can bring them into class, no problem.
Judah Canizers, thank you for that super chat. I love the set being like, ha, he's defenseless after he runs out of bullets, and Wax just straight up goes medieval is such a fun sequence. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how good he is with this thing that he's never practiced with. It's his like first time using it. He's like, I am a god at the martial arts of oh my god, there is a weapon. It's a hook at the end of a chain, and there's a martial art around it. I wish I could remember the name. I used to.
Okay.
There's a guy on TikTok who does like really cool videos of like the kinds of attacks you can do with it. He like slices through ice and stuff. But
fun.
There is a weapon that is like this. And he obviously has the magical ability to push it harder than that person ever could. But
right. Still badass.
Yeah, no, this scene is great.
Yeah.
Milan, very cool. Rope dart. There's a name for a rope dart though, right? For the martial art that uses it. I wish I could pull it. I watch that guy on TikTok all the time. The Kusari Kama, that might be it. Kama. Yeah. He was basically a cowboy. It's how far-fetched he can handle a rope. Yeah, he can probably lasso someone real well.
I don't know if he was ever rounding up cattle.
Yeah, it is a specific skill. It's not something that you use on people very often.
No.
Like in
but
movies
I don't
you
think
do.
Swinging, here's the thing, I don't think swinging a rope, just swinging it takes that much skill. He has magic powers that can push the metal piece of the rope where he needs it to be. So he doesn't actually have to have the control.
Well, no, he can only push it away from himself.
Yeah.
He can't push it where he needs it to be.
Well, he can push it in a direction without having to like learn how to do that physically. Baby Balrog.
Baby Balrog. They've got a super chat. Popping in for 5 seconds. Work has me too busy to say sorry to hear that you're working.
I'm so sorry.
Friday during work hours.
We this podcast will be here when you're done.
Yeah.
I promise.
Oh, yeah. Shang Biao in Chinese is the one that I was thinking of BC. Yeah.
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 Wax is actually the master of improvised weapons. Yeah. He's like, it's metal, I can throw it.
Chris Pilkington yells, he's also practiced a lot. A lot is the only word, not all capitals. pushing random shit as weapons. It's not the pushing that I think he would be good at. It's the, like, practicing the timing of retrieving it to himself. Like, the pulling. He's not a puller. He's a pusher. Much like Tina Fey in Mean Girls.
In Mean Girls, yeah. Yeah, like
he's
a drug
pusher.
pusher. Yeah.
Like a drug pusher.
I'm gonna push you. It's good. Write that down.
Yeah, okay, well. Tina Fey is a pusher.
I love that you're using, like, the actress's name.
Yeah. Professor, can I pull it?
Isn't her name Miss Norbury? Or is that or is that the principal's name?
Yeah, one of them. I
can't remember.
Norbury's one of them.
There is a Norbury and
Tina Fey is a coin shot confirmed.
Yeah. I can't remember if it's her or if it's the principal.
I can't remember.
And
I didn't do that musical. I was too old by then.
Tina Fey coin shot confirmed.
So he's like, Milan, go to this tavern. We'll meet you there later. I gotta go check on my pops. Because Bleeder, in the conversation, Bleeder was like, I haven't even killed your dad yet. Or your father yet. And
he's like, what, my father? But my father is... You mean my father-in-law?
My future father-in-law?
Sure, that makes sense.
And so he goes, and he goes home. He zips home and breaks into his stepfather's house. And
Lord Harmon's like, Where is he?
Ready.
Where is he?
What are we going to do?
What are we doing?
And Wax is like, okay, we're going to point that at the ground.
He's like, I love that there's not even a magazine in that gun.
He's like, I'll back you up.
Yeah.
We're going to do this. This is why Ki Kwan has to play this character.
No, absolutely.
Can you imagine? Yeah. Okay. Bucky Barnes himself, Sebastian Stan, breaking in through the window. Ki Kwan looking up from his desk, slamming it open, grabbing an unloaded gun, and then it would be the best moment in any of the movies.
Yeah.
It would be peak comedy.
Yeah.
My casting for this... Look, the one thing I will say going into book 2, my casting for all these characters holds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Definitely holds. The only... Oh, Jack Black?
Oh my god.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
That would turn this series into a true comedy, though.
The thing is...
It'd have to be a specific vibe.
Yeah, Jack Black, I don't know, man. Jack
Black as Breeze.
I don't know if Jack Black is going to be in movies after the Minecraft movie comes out. I think that might be the end of his career.
It's fine. We'll just go back and watch Tenacious D and The Pick of Destiny.
Yeah, but we're sad because they're not friends anymore. Because Jack Black kicked Kyle Gass to the curb after the whole Donald Trump joke in Australia.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't know. So, yeah. We actually, chapter 12, we go back to Wayne first. And he is outside. They're interrogating people, and they are the guards are hiding the governor, and Wayne is like, I have to talk to the governor. What's up? And they're like, yeah, we already snuck him out of here. He's gone. And Wayne is like, you fucking idiot. I'm here to keep him safe. You morons.
Trying to do my job. You fucking literal.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You're useless.
Yeah. Wax definitely takes a moment to verify Lord Harms is who he says he is.
Which was the title of this is like, do you know the secret password? This book is about to have so many. I don't need to know them all, Brandon Sanderson. The ones that we've got so far, I'm good on.
Yeah, they're fine.
I don't need to know every secret password.
I won't be able to keep track of them.
No. Well, especially because you were like, they said it in the audiobook. You were like, I've already forgotten.
I already forgot. I don't remember.
Leavening on sand.
Yeah, sure. It's because that's not a real word to me.
What?
Like
sand?
Yes. Sand is not a real word.
Oh, that's weird.
Steris is trying to talk with Wayne, but Wayne is a fucking cunt. Actually, the rudest person. And Steris is like, man, I'm just trying to, be friendly with my fiance's best friend, and he's making it real hard. It's just making me like Wayne less, you know? Because we stand Steris in this house, and Wayne's being a little bitch about it.
This scene felt very weird.
Because I was like,
felt like Wayne was giving her good advice.
Yeah.
And then he, like, takes this abrupt turn and is like, I just don't want to fucking be near you, bitch. And then walks away and goes... And I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, I'm like, is it a weird jealousy thing?
Well, and his insistence that Wayne doesn't... Or that Wax doesn't like her. But, like, every time we see Wax and Steris together, they seem to have a, like, nice camaraderie.
Yeah, because Wayne doesn't pay attention. Like...
Yeah, this scene just felt it was an extreme.
It felt very like high school in a way that I think kind of makes sense for Wayne because we've established that he is quite immature.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is still a 30-year-old man. Like,
I don't like Wayne.
Yeah, he's kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, this book is really like I really like I don't like him at all.
Yeah.
He's
useful. And I think his point of view and how he goes about things is very interesting, but I'm like, I don't like you.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of the character. I think that he is... If he was like 19 and Wax saved him recently, I think that I would have more empathy for it. But the fact that they've been working together for years... I don't have a lot of empathy for him anymore. I'm a little over him.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that, like, if Wayne was convinced that perhaps Wax and Steris weren't going to get married, that maybe trying to drive her away would make sense. But, again, Steris is like, we've already invested so much into this. You being rude to me just puts tension in between us and, like, doesn't help anybody, and it's petty.
Yeah.
You're just making our lives harder.
And he's being rude. The problem I have with it is that he is being rude to her because of an outcome he wants, not because of anything she has done to him.
Yeah.
Right? And it is particularly in this scene, it is a, like, gross overreaction to the situation at hand.
Yeah, I mean, Wayne is very dramatic.
Yeah. But this moment felt particularly like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, holy shit, okay.
She's just being nice to you. Like, she's just talking to you, and you're being a lunatic about it.
Yeah.
And between that and the breaking into the girls' dorm, I'm just kind of like, Arzu kind of has the same vibe I do. He's interesting to read. He's interesting.
Yeah.
Fuck, do I never want to meet this guy. And if I did, I would be like, hey, nice to meet you. Have a good one.
Yeah, just because I'm like, I don't like him doesn't mean I think he's, like, a poorly written character or anything like that.
No, I don't think he's poorly written. I just don't like him.
Yeah, I'm just like, and I don't really feel like I'm supposed to,
But also, I think that Wayne's inability to understand what people are trying to tell him about Renette is a little gross.
Again, it's so childish.
It's an obsession with a woman in a way that is, like, unhealthy, and
I think it's because Wayne doesn't actually know how to have real relationships with people, right? Like, and so he has convinced himself that him and Renette have a thing because they have a rapport of, her trying to kill him. But he's like, he's like basically used that as a, like, fill-in for... It's basically him convincing himself that Renette and him have a thing basically excuses him from having to make any other connections or relationships to any other women.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
So it's a weird cop-out,
Chris Pilkington says Wayne has never really moved past his trauma from when he murdered the guy. 100%.
Yeah.
No, 100%. But it's also his job too. Like, and this is what and some people will find this controversial. It is your responsibility as a person who is dealing with shit to not make that shit other people's problems.
Yeah, and
Wayne is making his problems everyone he meets problems.
Yeah, because he's still in the maturity of that 16-year-old boy.
Right, and so that's why, like, if he was 19, 20, I'd be like, I have empathy for this. But he's like, it's been over a decade.
Yeah.
And he is not trying to change. He is not engaging in other people's emotions at all. Pete T says hurt people hurt people. That just makes the first hurt person who's hurting people responsible. That's not an
yeah.
excuse. Like,
No,
using
it's not.
that as an
Yeah.
excuse is weak sauce to me.
I don't think it's an excuse.
No, I'm not saying PT is.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that Wayne is.
Yeah.
Wayne is allowing for the excuse of it,
yeah,
rather than growing the fuck up.
Yeah, Wayne has picked his self-punishment.
Yeah.
And
but he's making
no
it
desire.
Everybody's problem.
That's the thing. He has no desire to analyze it, to move past it, to grow from it, to do anything other than punish himself every month.
But he's punishing himself by self-flagellating where everyone else can see.
100%.
You know what I mean? And it just is like it is less interesting to me over time.
Mm-hmm.
When there's a lot of characters in this that are doing so much growth and so much introspection and so many interesting things, that to watch Wayne be reduced to sort of comedic relief in a way that is making particularly the women of the series uncomfortable is a weird balance in this for me.
Sure.
Right? Like, a lot of the comedy of Wayne is that he is being rude, creepy, or disrespectful to women.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I get it. Like, he's a realistic person who could exist. I'm not saying he isn't. I know guys like this. I just don't like them. Because I'm like, what you think is funny is just being mean to a woman.
Yeah.
Right? Or, like, being obsessed with a woman or making a woman uncomfortable. Wayne is the guy in the office that's making jokes about the women that make them feel uncomfortable being there.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And I feel like either he is going to grow in the next few books, realize that, and become better and make some apologies, and I'll be like, great, I love what happened with Wayne.
Yeah. Or
he's going to feel kind of stuck in this to the end, and he's going to be kind of like the character I didn't love in the series around a bunch of characters that I do.
Yeah, I am hopeful that he does have some kind of growth. And on the flip side of that, I am also hopeful that, like, maybe Wax pushes him to be a better person. Because, like, Wayne hasn't had parents, really, except for Wax. And that's the example that he's pulling from, which I think says a lot about Wax maybe not being the best example. And I think Wax needs to take a bit more responsibility.
He enables him. One of the problems Wayne has is that Wax enables him because he's useful.
Yeah.
But Wax is actually being a bad friend. Because Wax is allowing Wayne's worst impulses to be... To fester.
To be unchecked, yeah.
Because he's useful as he is.
Yeah.
And it is actually, in a way, it is selfish for Wax to behave this way. Because he's not pushing his friend to improve and change and be a better person. Yeah. Because he has this person who has all the privilege and status in the world protecting him from any consequences of his actions. Without Wax, Wayne would have consequences. But he doesn't, because he lives in a lord's manor with unlimited wealth. He's able to rob and steal as much as he wants and call it trading, because Wax enables it. Like, Wax is... It is one of Wax's flaws. The thing is, Wax has a lot of strengths that balance out his flaws a little bit more, so he's a little bit more interesting in a character, whereas Wayne is more flaws than strengths.
For sure.
And... yeah, it's unfortunate sometimes. Let's go over to Wax. Wax takes his soon-to-be stepfather, flies him across town, drops him on a... Because he's like, how the fuck...
How do I predict what Bleeder's gonna do? She's like 600 years old.
And how do I get... Like, Bleeder's probably thought through everything I can do.
She's not 600. She's like way older
way
than
older,
that.
yeah. Because she's older than... She predates the Ash.
Milan, who's 600 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He drops his stepfather on a random tower.
Yeah. He's like, I can't, like, choose anything that, like, she wouldn't predict, so we're just gonna pick it random.
That one.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need you to just stay up here. My favorite part of this is that if Wax had died, he would have just been stuck up there. And no one would have known.
Yeah, maybe. I mean...
I hope Wax told someone where he was quickly.
Maybe he probably put him at the top of a tower with, like, a way to get down, you know, like a staircase or something. Like...
Yeah, that's fair. How many towers
roof.
don't have a stairs down?
Yeah, he just kind of puts him at like, a random high point.
I was just thinking... when he did this, my brain, I was like, did he just leave him there and then... Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, he leaves him there. He goes
I'm gonna be.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I'll be back.
Okie dokie.
He goes to see the governor.
Yeah. He tells the leader, the head of security, I think, that there is a Condra who's after the governor, so that's going to be a problem. And he's like, that seems weird that a mythical fantasy creature that serves God would be trying to kill the governor. And Wax is like, yeah, no, don't worry about that. I'm going to figure it out. He's like, no, we need proof. He's like, sure, I'll get that to you eventually. So they agree to let Wax help protect the governor. Wax is like, you should probably leave the city. You should probably, like, get out of here. And he's like, no, if I run, people will think that I'm, like, fleeing because I'm corrupt and I'm trying to, like, save myself. I do actually understand the governor's reasoning here. But they do send, like, his wife and children to safety, which I appreciate. He's not selfish in that way. I feel like this is going to backfire, him not leaving. But also I get why he wouldn't want to. I think that does emphasize a negative view of him as a governor that would then make the unrest in the city worse. Yeah. So, they exchange pass phrases. There's passwords so that they can determine that neither of them is a Condra in disguise. Thank goodness for that. And I was like, oh yeah, they exchanged them and I immediately forgot them. And then there's a commotion that happens and a report comes in that Father Bin has been murdered. So it was not Lord Harms who was in danger. It was Father, as in the religious father figure in the city. So that's definitely not going to have consequences. Marcy is already there. Marcy is already investigating this murder. Father Ben has been nailed up with spikes in each eye, like Marsh. Definitely symbolizing something. There was that, like, poem. The stabbing through the eye is definitely going to matter. And anyways, yeah. Oh yeah.
What? Okay. Was someone stabbed in the eyes like this and left in the Mistborn trilogy? They were, right?
Like a specific person?
I thought that Marsh did this to somebody.
Oh, we were, like, talking about this in the reaction. Like, maybe one of the, like, like, one of
when
the
Marsh
keepers.
Was... After Elend and Vin were on their campaign, they left the capital.
Yeah.
Right? In the third book. Didn't Marsh go kill somebody there and then left him...
Stabbed through the eyes?
In public? Wasn't this a thing that happened in the third... Like... In the Marsh POVs... What you're thinking of is Marsh hemalurging Penrod. Yes. Yeah, but didn't Penrod's body get, like, displayed, which caused people to freak out? Because they... Like, didn't the guards find Penrod's body, like, up on a wall with spikes in his eyes?
No. No, but Marsh was letting himself be seen in the city to cause fear. That was my first thought as well, the Wheel of Time reference, where, like, Patton Fane, like, nails the oh my god. What are they called? The fuckers to the door. What are they called? With the teeth? Murdral? Why am I, like, I feel like my brain is melting. Yeah, the Murdral, to the door. But no, I don't think that there's ever, like, a public display of a body in the city. I do remember, though, that he was showing himself. Fades. That was the word that I could not remember.
Yeah, the fade on the door is a good one. I thought specifically there was a scene where someone got this same treatment, but I'm just wrong.
There was the time where they thought they found Marsh's body, which was all stabbed through and nailed to the floor.
Yeah.
But that was to make Marsh an Inquisitor.
Yeah, it was the body that they stabbed Marsh through.
To make him, yes.
Or no.
That they stabbed through Marsh.
Into
Marsh.
Yeah.
They stabbed through him into Marsh to make him... Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. I liked this moment. I thought it was a great reveal. I do wish we'd met Father Bin before.
Okay.
Like, I wish this was a character, even as a one-off in the first book or something. Yeah, I just wish that... I wish this was a character that had been introduced. Just so that it meant... Or just that we'd met a priest of this church. That we'd had some sort of interaction with this space before this moment.
Okay.
Just to give it a little bit more weight. It felt a little bit like, oh yeah, I guess that guy's dead.
It was kind of just like, oh, suddenly we're realizing that Bleeder is creating chaos in, like, any way that she possibly can, including pitting the different religions against one another.
Yeah, it was just I get that, like, because the path is non-religious and none of our characters are religious.
Marcy is religious. She's a survivorist.
Then yeah, maybe just a scene with her going to church and, like, seeking guidance on her job. Just, like, some way that we could have interacted with this space before this moment.
Okay.
Because it just kind of feels like we're retroactively introducing relationships to this church into this world that I didn't feel were previously there. And I like this moment. I just think it could have hit a little bit harder with just by giving the reader just any connection to it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because what we get out of this moment isn't really an emotional connection. It's more that Bleeder is trying to pit the religions against one another. She disguised herself as a Pathian who comes in and, like, murders a survivalist.
Yeah.
Obviously, the...
Survivorist.
Survivorist, yeah, right.
Very different.
He could also be a survivalist. You don't know that.
This doomsday prepper walked in with cans of tuna.
He might have lots of cans in his basement church. You never know. Okay.
Johan Ekstrom, it could have been a mention that this was going to be the priest for their marriage ceremony. That would have been great.
Is Steris a survivorist?
Yeah, we knew Steris had wax arranged for Bin to officiate their wedding, but that was only a few chapters earlier. Wait, no, so this was the guy that was going to marry them. Oh, that's why it's your father. Okay. Yeah, I wish we'd met him then.
Yeah.
Like, give us a scene with this guy talking about the wedding. That would have really worked for me. That would have done a lot for this moment.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think, like, in the chapter, he's like, oh, that guy was going to marry me. That's interesting.
Well, because he's not here yet, right?
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I think the scene's great. I think the reveal's great. I think the fact that he was there connection. And, like, it's just that this book is really ramping up. Like, well, now the Pathians and the Survivorists are really at each other's throats.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, were they antagonistic towards each other before?
Well, and here's the thing. They say in this chapter that they were.
Yeah.
But we don't really see that before this point.
Yeah, it just kind of feels a little bit like... It's not a retcon.
Well,
because it wasn't...
It was not meant to be this many books, right? This Mistborn Era 2 wasn't Alloy of Law supposed to be like a one-off? Literally a one-off book?
Not based on how the book goes, but...
No, I think originally it was written as a one-off.
Maybe, okay.
I just mean, like, the amount
His
of
uncle
planning,
stuff just feels very built for a series.
But I think that was what was added in to make it... I don't actually know.
And now Bloody Tan, it all feels very connected now, but...
Yes.
This is such a... It's a minor complaint. Because the moment's good, and I don't want people to think that I'm saying it's bad. I actually think that this is a great twist. There's a lot of wonderful stuff here.
Yeah.
I'm just... The only thing about it that I would say is... I just wish that we'd had a scene with this guy beforehand. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is fair.
Yeah. It was originally a short story about the wedding scene. Oh, the wedding scene from the first book. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I think there's definitely a little bit of evidence of maybe less pre-planning than like Era 1 had, because Era 1 was always meant to be what it was, which is fine. Yeah, like you said, again, it's not that big of a deal. But it is just less emotionally impactful to find this guy like displayed in this way. We do find out that the religions have been antagonistic towards each other, you know.
Yeah.
In a way that like, oh God, I hate humans. And I hate religion. So sorry, but that's just the truth of it. Because this is what you get out of it. An easy way to pit people against one another and cause chaos.
Yeah.
And bloodshed. Love that. Yes. So, Mercy suggests that these murders are all related to Bleeder because her superior, Aradel, doesn't see the connections yet, and Mercy's like, no, I think this is Bleeder. She's literally trying to fuck shit up. She wants the city to just be in, like, absolute chaos. Wait a minute, there's a food supply shortage.
Yeah.
Is that flood also, like, caused potentially by Bleeder trying to fuck shit up? Turns out, yes.
Aradel sends the guy that's already mad at Mercy to go investigate her hunch.
Yeah.
And he's like, gotta do everything this fucking little girl says. I hate it. I hate my life.
You know what he feels like? He feels like, you know, in the Sherlock show.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he feels like the one guy with the longer hair.
Yeah. I don't know his name. The cop.
Yeah, who just kind of gets like shit on the whole time, and then when Sherlock dies, he's the one who's like, but wait, I think he's still alive, and here's all my theories about it, and he's the literal guy with the red string.
Can't believe we just spoiled Sherlock.
Yeah, it's been like a decade, sorry.
They're gonna make more.
Sure.
And Wax is like, I don't think the spikes are hemalurgic, but give me a sample. Mercy, come on. We gotta go meet Milan.
Yep. We gotta figure out what the fuck Bleeder can do.
And that was the end of the audiobook reactions. So thank you to everyone who commissioned those. Blues Barros, Johnny Coleman, Jickle04, Arzu.
I think we're missing one.
Linus Vikstrom, Kano. I think that's everyone.
A lot of commissions. Thank you all. Oh, you're checking.
I want to make sure.
Just making sure.
I really appreciate the audiobook commissions. You guys don't even know. I think it's crazy that you do this. Yeah, we got all of them.
Yeah, and we have the best time. We get to paint minis and listen to a dope book. This is such a win.
And so I want to say I want to be better about thanking the people who commissioned the chapter reactions. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, seriously.
Kritik says, when can we expect a KGF Chapter 1 movie reaction? In July. So
I wouldn't
in July, don't worry about it. The next chapter, 13, starts with Wayne mocking religion immediately after seeing a priest dead.
Does Wayne see the priest? Wayne?
Oh, Wayne doesn't go to the church, does he?
No.
Okay. I found the beginning of this chapter a little odd.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. Because we just watched a priest die.
Yeah. And he wasn't there, and I don't even think he knows yet. Like, I actually don't know if Wayne knows.
No, Wayne does see the priest.
He does?
Does he?
I didn't think that Wayne was there at the crime scene.
He sits on the benches watching. Yeah, so he...
Oh, okay.
I found his description of this place as, like, a religious place. Immediately after the religious place was attacked.
To be interesting.
It's interesting.
Different religion. It's they worship Breeze.
Yeah.
Which is a choice.
Which is a choice. I found the art of how this was written fun. I think that Brandon Sanderson pushing himself to like throw a sense of style into the book was nice.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that element of it.
Yeah. And these people worship by drinking.
Yeah.
Which I love that for them. It's bad for alcoholics, unfortunately, but
a tad bit tactless. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah. Normally, when the people are hanging out and drinking, they seem to be pretty happy, but today is not a good day.
Yeah.
So Wayne goes around and becomes a mixologist and does the, fancy shit on Twitter where they shake the things and they throw the drinks and bing, bada, boom, it's fancy now. Here's some sugar, here's some bitters, here's some bubbly,
It's shocking he doesn't get shot.
That
if a random guy walked into the bar and started touching the fruit and, like, pouring shit in people's drinks...
Look, if a random guy came up to me and tried to pour something into my drink, I would punch him. But, different times. I don't know.
But no, they all love it. Because he's the bartender that's, like, flipping the fucking...
Here's the thing. In this day and age, they haven't had the drive to, like, innovate and discover different, like drugs and stuff like that. So they don't actually have a date rape drug.
Yeah, they don't really have drugs, do they?
Not really,
Because
no.
they have soothing dens. Like, why would you need a drug when someone can just make you feel things?
Yeah, they have alcohol, and that's kind of it, yeah.
See, these are the upsides to them not being that experimental.
Yeah.
Is they haven't made meth.
Yeah. No heroin for your pain.
Skipcat, it's not a church. It is a bar. It's just a bar. Wayne is just being...
It's a church bar.
Poetic.
It's a char.
Yeah. It's just a bar. He's just being funny because a priest just died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says this is where people go to worship. Thank you, Breeze. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, apparently him fucking around with people's drinks works.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finds Milan. And we cut to Waxameracy, interrupting Wayne and Milan burping at one another like in Shrek the Musical.
Yeah.
It's literally what I pictured.
Yeah. Wayne fucks with her drink and she's like, I like something stronger. Michael Kramer doing her voice is very funny to me.
Yeah.
And she burps by creating a mouth on her hand.
Yeah.
Which is horrifying and I don't like it.
No, I'm not.
I'm not a fan of the mouths in places on the body where there shouldn't be mouths.
Yeah.
It does bring up some intriguing possibilities sexually.
Yeah. Well, but would the mouth have depth? Or would it just be going all the way through?
I mean, it's like jelly, right? So it might just stretch.
It might stretch if it has a back, but it also might just be like an open... Be like fucking like a ring.
So like a fleshlight.
No, but a fleshlight goes all the way down, right? No, it would just be like a ring that's like this thick.
Yeah, but if you were to do that, then you could go into the wrist.
Yeah, that seems like putting pressure on that part of the wrist seems like it's... Again,
she's jelly.
Bad recipe. Yeah, you know what? That's fair. She probably cannot develop arthritis.
She's immune to bullets. I don't think she's worried about muscle strain.
No, that is absolutely valid. Linus, thank you for that super chat. It is a church because of tax exemptions. They avoid the alcohol tax.
I bet the bartender wishes. This is right. The one thing I will say in Wayne's favor here. He finally pays for something.
Sure.
He puts aluminum on the bar and pays for this, which feels good.
He trades for it. Yeah.
Can you imagine how much easier Bonnie Blue's recent video escapade would have been if she could have just created a bunch of pussies on her body?
Damn.
Yeah.
That would have been useful.
Instead of just having the one.
All right.
1,000 men, 12 hours. What the hell? It's crazy.
That's...
You hear the OnlyFans took the video down?
No.
Yeah, they were like, we can't guarantee the age of all the men in this video. It's too many people. So they removed it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did she not submit forms for all of them with ID?
I think so, but I think they were like...
They didn't want to do the work?
Well, no, and not everyone's face is on camera, and they're like, there's 1,000... Like, there's no way for us.
But you can make faceless content on there, so that doesn't make any sense
But it's like
at all.
one person that you can check up with. They're like, there's no way that we can follow up on this if there's a problem.
That just sounds like them being annoying.
Yeah. Anyway, not important.
Wax is like, all right, so how do we kill Bleeder? And Milan's like, well, you basically can't do much. You have to take the spike out.
Acid.
No.
She does bring up acid in this conversation.
Wait, really?
Yep.
No.
in this, she's like, acid works.
I wouldn't fuck around with that, you know.
Yeah.
There's probably people around.
She also gives them a needle and is like, if you stab her with this, it will temporarily destabilize her.
Yeah, but if you stab a real human with it,
they'll
die. So you have to be
100%
sure.
We're working on that problem.
Yeah.
I found her being like, oh, it's something, we're on it.
Yeah.
Book 4 will have the stabby thing that doesn't kill humans.
We find out that Bleeder was like the Condra for the Lord Ruler, who like always was on missions, doesn't really have a personality, but when she's not impersonating someone, and maybe knows some secrets that the other Condra don't, because there's rumors that she was able to impersonate Inquisitors, which means she would need to have elemental powers to do so.
Or at least knowledge of them, yeah.
Super sus. So they think that Bleeder definitely has some knowledge from the Lord Ruler that they do not.
Yeah, Paalma went evil after being the dedicated Lord Ruler Condra for 1,000 years?
Well,
what?
But then she was super dedicated to Sazed, and
how
then
did we not see this coming?
Fanatics, you know?
How did we not... The one that worked for the worst guy ever for 1,000 years went bad? Holy shit.
Yeah.
It feels like there must have been a sign at some point.
I saw the signs.
James Ross says, if they drown, they're a human, but if they don't drown, they're a witch.
There you go.
Yeah, so Paalma is maybe the worst thing to deal with ever. Do you think that they deal with Paalma in this book, or do you think Paalma makes it into Bands of Morming?
There's no at the end.
Isn't it Paalma?
No.
It's just Paalm?
Yeah.
Paalm. Do you think Paalm makes it into the next book?
No, I feel like we have like specific things that if it's anything like book 1, Bleeder is going to be like the Miles.
Monster of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
Marius of the Bane said not really most Condra worked for the Lord Ruler. We're talking about how the book says that she was the Lord Ruler's Condra.
Like the favorite.
And she was the closest to the Lord Ruler.
Mm-hmm.
Emily Baum brings up, to be honest, Tensoon worked for the worst guy ever, Strafe, and he's a good boy. Tensoon gets brought up a lot. It is nice.
Yeah, Tensoon is mentioned several times, which is nice.
It is so fascinating. At the end of the Mistborn trilogy, we were like, oh, so the Condra are all dead now, right? Like that was our assumption in that book. Nope, they're alive.
No, they're good.
Yeah, they survived.
They're definitely like dwindling. Like there's only like 300 of them left, but
yeah. Do you think Tensoon still walks around in a dog body?
Sometimes. Yeah, I think sometimes it'd be useful. Yeah.
He's got them all fours.
Yeah, it's got good memories.
I could see Tensoon being a centaur. Like a true body centaur.
Sure.
You know, he wants the like all fours, but also wants hands.
Okay, very useful. Yeah. Bust of both worlds here.
I do love that because of the Condra, you can have all kinds of things. Like Frankie, yeah, but a proper centaur, not a Frankie centaur. Not that front-facing shit. That's weird. No. Guys, not a Frankie's. A normal centaur. Frankie's centaur, his hips detach forward.
I'm sorry?
He becomes a centaur, but his legs split, right? But instead of his legs going back and him having legs behind him, he has 2 legs in front of him, and then the steel beams, and then his 2 legs.
The steel beam?
He's a cyborg.
So he's like legs, body.
I don't know what you just did with your hands, but it did not help.
Like 4 legs, and then the body's like in the middle.
No, it's on the back legs instead of on the front legs.
Oh, like a real weird rear wheel drive car.
Sure, yes, like a rear wheel drive car.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Super! Okay.
Chapter 14. Jesus Christ. Wax goes to the Pathian church, and there's like a mob outside that's like attacking it. So he shows up and he scares him off with his gun. One guy hides nearby, and so he goes to like interrogate him, and this dude shits himself. Just all over the ground.
Literally.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yep.
Get your shit together.
So he's like, why are you attacking this church? They didn't murder Father Ben. And this dude's like, Father Ben is murdered?
What are you talking about? No, it's
like,
these two guys from the Paphians. They came in and yelled at us at the bar.
Yeah, and we got mad that they yelled at us, so we went to fuck up their shit. And Wax is immediately like, great. So either it was Bleeder and an accomplice or two accomplices, which makes this so much more complicated, and I don't like it.
There you go, Guillermo. Just for you.
All right.
And so then they go... Where did they go next? Oh, they go to the Carriage proprietor. They, like, look up his books. They're like, who's taking things places?
Right, because Wax saw some, like, scraped off silver at the crime scene. And he's like, oh, sets, carriages... They have
never
silver.
Met a set I liked.
Yeah.
Never one set. Anyone related to that old grumpy motherfucker.
Yeah, but
bad
they
family.
Are able to find out the possibly getaway carriage, and where he is. He's at a soothing parlor because he saw some fucked up shit.
But also, there's a whole ploy. This was brilliant. I really like this.
Yeah.
So there is a wing of the government
to
stop people from using emotional allomancy for like
manipulation.
For manipulation
without consent.
But the way this carriage driver has been making money is that he pays a soother to make people feel really tired and want to go home, so that they get into the nearest carriage, which is his.
No, it was a rioter. They have a rioter employed to make people feel like the urgent need to get where they're going as fast as possible, so they hop in a carriage.
Right. I feel like you could go either way, though. You could probably use it, make someone super tired or make someone...
Tired. Yeah, because the soother comes up first, and then it's like the rioter that's like,
Give bro a second for that super chat.
Yeah.
Super!
Thank you so much.
I need to do a Frankie cosplay. I just need to get in shape first.
I have no idea what this is even from.
One Piece.
Oh, okay. I was like, I have no fucking clue.
It's my guy.
And he becomes a centaur?
He's a cyborg.
Oh, great.
Because he died.
Oh.
Kind of. It's complicated. He got hit by a train. It's really fucking sad.
Okay.
That's the Frankie centaur mode.
That's not a centaur. There's no horse.
Babe.
Doesn't even have hooves.
You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay? Sets are basically Terran fairy folk. Basically, yes.
Yeah.
That is a good way to put it. And so, Marcy and Milan go back to the precinct, and they...
There's a bunch of guns everywhere.
Reveal Milan to Aladar, so that he's aware of what's going on.
I definitely, in this moment, was super sus of him trying to enact martial law. Because I was like, that actually seems like it would make the situation worse. So I thought maybe he was Bleeder in disguise. But we get Bleeder, like, shortly after this later. So I'm like, I actually don't think that that's the case.
Yeah, and cops always go to... They're like, we want more powers. Everyone wants more power all the time. You know who doesn't? This guy. I want less responsibility. I want all of y'all to handle your own shit and leave me alone.
Yeah, I want to have to be responsible for you.
I don't want to go outside. I got 2 employees. It's too many.
Outside is fine.
It's fine. I don't like it.
We go outside a lot.
I don't like it.
Oh.
I'm very happy in this chair or in my chair upstairs.
All right. There you go. Sure.
You know what I mean?
Milan notices the way that the other people treat Marcy. And she's like, you're just going to let them do that? And she's like, yeah, so here's the deal. They hate Wax. I'm the closest thing that they can, hate on with... Because they can't actually hate on Wax because he's rich and, like, powerful. And so they just take it out on me. And I just deal with it.
But she's like, do you want me to go beat the shit out of them? Like, Milan is like, but are you sure you don't want me to beat the shit out of them?
Like, nah.
I will beat the shit out of them. Milan kind of reminds me of, like, a Jason Mantzoukas character, in a way.
Sure.
Like, she's like, oh, no. You can stab me. Fire is on the table. Like...
Yeah.
She's like, they're being mean to you. Can I kill them?
Yeah. You want me to fuck
like,
shit up?
No, you can't. She's like, oh, okay, that's weird. I thought you would want me to kill them. Whatever. I guess if you don't want me to.
Yeah. They do find the report that it seems like that dam breaking was Bleeder as well. So yeah, she's been around for a long time, just fucking shit up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Chapter 15. We are back with Wax. He goes to find the driver. Mm-hmm. Who's got like a private session going on, and he's freaking the fuck out because Bleeder scared the shit out of him. He saw some fucked up shit. And like it was like, yeah, she changed into me, and I saw myself, and I was fucked up, and he's just having a really bad day. Yeah.
And Marcy goes up to the roof and finds Aradel up there talking to Coin Shots, which is he really is just fucking Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
He goes up to the roof to talk to people with superpowers. By book 3, they're going to have a light they shine in the sky that's just a W.
Yeah. Whether it stands for Wax or Wayne, they're not really sure.
The problem is they don't know either. Suddenly they're like scratching into it, WM.
Yeah. Judah, thank you for that super chat. Well, that sexism exists when Vin is literal Jesus.
It's a good point. You'd think... Well, and you would think that, like, you know, a lot of our sexism comes from, like, a history of, you know, men being physically more strong than women, and that kind of seeping into everything, right?
Yeah, but these people have magic powers.
But because they're female pewter arms that could beat the shit out of any man, you would think that there'd be some differences there, but it doesn't seem like they've developed that.
It definitely... Okay.
I appreciate this book not having fantasy gender norms like Roshar does with the I feel like the Roshar takes the like men and women stuff way too far, where everything is either a man or a woman's thing. Sure. It is the one thing about Stormlight that I genuinely find a little bit annoying. It leads to great jokes. Yeah. Like, I didn't read Wind and Truth, I listened to it like a good Vorin man. Like, stuff like that is funny. But because like they have different food and different reading and all the way down, I almost find Roshar's gender norms tedious. But here it does feel like Vin should have changed things for women a little bit.
And here's the thing: I don't think that like this world is as sexist and patriarchal as ours. Like, I think that they have weird ideas of what is feminine and masculine.
For sure, yeah. Because the idea of a female cop when our technology was close to what theirs was would have been crazy.
Yeah, whereas they are like, well, you know, the Vin, like, is literal Jesus, like you say. So it's not unfeminine to have female cops.
Well, and I don't think anyone has a problem with Marcy being a woman.
Here, no.
Right? Their problem is that she didn't work her way up and that she's attached to Wax. But when Milan and Marcy walk over to her desk, the woman, or the person that is disrespecting her by putting her foot on her chair and like huffs when they ask for her to move is a woman.
That's true.
So like there are female cops in this precinct that are also being shitty towards Marcy. So I don't actually think it's a sexism problem.
No.
Wax is a little bit sexist.
Wax feels like he's the most from our world in that way. Because he can't see women as people.
He can.
No, I'm teasing.
He treats Steris with a lot of respect. He just doesn't want Marcy to be a cop.
Sorry, I was talking about Wayne.
Oh, I was like...
Sorry, no.
Wax is pretty respectful.
No, that was my brain confusing Wax and Wayne. No, I feel like Wayne is the most, like, dropped from our world character because he can't understand women.
But it's not like women in this world can't be cops, right?
No, that's true.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so yeah, I definitely think that, like... The sexism in this world is actually quite different from ours.
But it is noticeable that like Steris has to marry a man for, you know, for privileges, and all of the people in power that we meet are men.
Yeah, that's true.
The governor's a man. All of the heads of the houses that we meet who have the actual power behind. We haven't met like a woman who's the power behind a house in this series. We haven't met. Like Aradel is a man. So it is interesting in that like. Yes, there probably is less sexism because of it. Oh my God. But the power structure in this world is still heavily skewed towards men.
There's a moment that's a little like where Wax is like, oh, okay, so this Condra guy, because he's seen...
It was so
He's
cringy.
seen bloody tan in his
yeah.
face, so he uses male pronouns and says it is like...
Why would you assume the Condra's gender?
That it's a male because it's a threat? No. And I was like, okay. He used male pronouns because he has only ever seen Bleeder in a male form. Body. All right, let's calm the fuck down.
Look, I will use whatever pronouns that you want, 100%.
Yeah. No, that was funny.
I thought it was a little cringy.
Funny in a cringy way. Right? I was like,
okay, Sayzed, we get it. You're woke. Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, that's a little bit unfair to Wax because he has literally seen Bloody Tan and knows that Bloody Tan is a guy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
There's also, there's a moment in this book where they use the word hermaphrodite to describe Sayzed. Milan is like, your god is a hermaphrodite.
Right.
He's ruin and preservation. He's this and this, and I was like, hermaphrodite is specifically gender, and Sayzed still goes by he, him pronouns. So
true.
It was just a very odd use of the word hermaphrodite, because it was to use hermaphrodite to mean something that it doesn't mean. Like, hermaphrodite is specifically a gender concept. It isn't when somebody is two things. And Sayzed is still...
Maybe it's Latin. Like, maybe the Latin it doesn't...
No, because I went and I was like, oh, does hermaphrodite not mean what I thought it meant? So I Googled the definition when I heard it. Because I thought the moment was weird. But Sayzed still presents as male and has not changed that.
Yeah.
And so it was an odd use of the word.
Everyone refers to Harmony as him.
Yeah. And Sayzed, when he's talking, is still... Like, yeah, no one has ever referred to Sayzed as a woman or as she, her. Maybe genderless, but even that's not hermaphroditic in any way. That's just not what it means.
It's both instead of neither.
And so when they were like, they're ruin and preservation, they're a hermaphrodite, I was like, that's not what the definition of that word is.
Yeah. Maybe it's a word that has had different definitions.
And maybe that's what it is. But, like, the definition of hermaphrodite is an organism having both male and female sex organs or other sexual characteristics.
Which Sayzed has neither.
Like, that's just the definition of the word.
Sayzed literally has neither.
Sayzed doesn't have organs, right?
Well.
And so, it's not like by becoming God, he became a woman.
God is a woman. Yeah. Huh.
It was a weird, like, trying to be like, like ruin and preservation. It's like having a penis and a vagina. I was like, that...
Which one is ruin?
That doesn't really make any sense. If you're using the word differently, maybe it does. But in the moment that, in the audiobook I was listening, I was like, that's not... Just saying that it's about sex, not gender. Oh, okay, Blue Sun's right. Yeah, sorry, I said gender. It's about sexual organs. It was just a very odd word choice on Brandon Sanderson's part, in my opinion, to use hermaphrodite when that's a different thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Apparently, it used to have more meaning, so maybe it is just that, like, in like olden times, it meant something else.
There are older definitions.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But yeah, I just found the term, it was a weird term to apply to God. And I understand the idea that he is all things, but that doesn't mean that he's it doesn't matter. I thought it was a weird word to use. Yeah. I think that Brandon Sanderson uses weird words sometimes. That shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah.
I was listening to an interview with him recently, where he was talking about his writing. I think it was from Dragonsteel, maybe. It was like a TikTok clip. I didn't watch the whole interview, spoilers and stuff. But he brought up the hat trick.
Oh,
remember
really?
when I had a problem with that?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, people don't like some of the things that I use, like when I used hat trick. And I was like, yeah, it bugged me. It doesn't make sense in context.
Yeah. That is funny.
Yeah.
Judah, thank you for that super chat. This was back when Santa started to play around more with gender norms and didn't quite understand. I cringe every time I read that portion.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. It was weird to me.
Yeah, make the most sense. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. I feel you there. Anyways, Milan turns all godly like on Aradel to prove to him that she's a Condra. She goes all transparent and she starts using thous and they fucking Wiltst and
this was great.
Yeah.
This is anytime I've seen my friends play D&D and they're like a cleric or a paladin, and like 90% of the time you're sitting at the table with them, that character is saying piss and shit and trying to get laid and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's one mission where it's like a side quest that's about holy shit and it's about their backstory, and suddenly your friend who says all the worst swear words in the world is like, yes, verily I will be thine protector, you good man. And you're like, you fuck.
Yeah.
I watched your fucking paladin shit in a goblin's mouth yesterday. You pretender.
Pretty much, yeah. Anyways, it does the job of convincing pretty well.
Yeah.
Milan is like, hey, you snore really loudly. Might want to get that checked out. Get some breathing strips, you know?
It reminded me of the scene from the first Avengers movie where Captain America drops down on the taxi cab and he's like, he points these two cops. He's like, I need you to put men in that building and that building. Take everyone down to the subway. And then the guy's like, why should I listen to you? And then the Chitauri show up and Captain America beats the shit out of all of them. Yeah. And then the camera just pans down to the cop and he turns around and he just repeats everything Captain America just said.
Yeah.
It had that same energy of Ardell being like, right.
Well,
all right. Yeah, I work for you now.
Yeah, whatever you say, my lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mercy does have a little bit of a mini crisis in the middle of all this, being like, wait, was I only made the assistant so that Aradel could, like, spy on Wax? Who knows? We'll probably never find that out.
Yeah. She's like, I will give you weekly reports, but I'm telling him I'm doing it. And Ardel's like, that's fine.
We're not doing shady shit. We're just trying to keep an eye on him.
But Ardel's also like, I don't care. I just need somebody to tell me something. He said he would do it. And sometimes he sends me a letter saying that I can find someone hanging by their ankles. Because his argument is like, I'm not trying to get in his way. I just need to prepare for who I need to apologize to.
Literally, yeah.
That cracked me up.
Fair.
I just want to know who's going to be mad at me before it happens.
Exactly.
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Chapow!
Is spiraling, and he's like, I think I killed somebody and I went mad. And Wax is like, no, actually, these scary monsters do exist. I don't know which one is easier for you to swallow. It's fine. Everything sucks. That was supposed to be comforting. Don't worry about it. These finds a glowing substance.
And some bones.
Yeah.
Whoever Bleeder was wearing, it's a weird way to say it, but it's the truth, at the party, those bones are left behind in that carriage.
Oh, God, yeah. Chapter 16. Wax outside the mansion, and he hears Bleeder's voice, because Bleeder's not giving up. She's like, I'm gonna kill the governor. You work for me.
Really quickly, we did skip over it. Wax is so fucking unaware in this scene.
Oh, yeah.
That last scene, because she doesn't want to kill you, just everyone. The guy's like, but she's gonna kill me. And he's like, oh, she doesn't want to kill you any more than anyone else.
Yeah.
And she wants to kill everyone else. So she does want to kill you, but, like, not specifically.
Yeah.
So, like,
she's not targeting you.
Take some solace in the fact that she's not gonna, like, come for you. She just might kill you by accident.
He's like, that was supposed to be comforting. Why didn't that
work? I fucked that up. Yeah. Wait, that wasn't helpful.
Yeah.
Great bit. That to me is better comedy than the Wayne stuff.
Yeah.
When Brandon Sanderson's writing, like, the Wax comedy in this book is really working for me in a way that the Wayne stuff just kind of isn't.
Yeah.
Just because it's a little, it's not as on the nose, I think.
Yeah. 100%.
Some of the Wayne stuff is just a little too obvious what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And when he's playing around the characters a little bit more and getting comedy out of those beats, I just think it's stronger.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Bleeder asks why Harmony didn't save Lessie, and definitely plants some seeds of dissent. in Wax's brain. Guillermo, thank you for that super chat. I love how Wayne has to remind him to be empathetic. As soon as he leaves him, he goes back to being Wax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does he say? Watch your heart rate?
Yeah.
Like, hey, come
You're
in a little
not
hot,
a rock.
brother.
You're not a rock, actually. You're a human being.
Yeah. Arzu says, Wax's zero self-awareness reminds me of Rand in Wheel of Time. Check your pulse. That was it, yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. Like, it is sort of it's a very, like, single, like, it's a trait that is shared by characters who are so focused on a task that they forget the people involved.
Yeah.
And Paalm is like, hey, so he's on top of this electrical pole, and Paalm is like, hey, I'm gonna go kill that guy.
Yeah. It's like, not on my watch.
He like runs there's a whole sequence where he like bounces around.
There's a chase scene.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like
just trying to figure out where she is.
Yeah. It like brings up the question of like how much speed has she been able to save up, because that stuff runs out real quick.
How
right?
far can she talk to him? You know, what is the distance on this ability to kind of you know, imagine herself into his head?
Yeah. Wayne has planted himself among the guards, so when they get in there and she starts moving fast, Wayne throws up a speed bubble, so they're actually moving at the same time. She's like very surprised by this. It was a really cool moment. Unfortunately, a lot of guards do get killed. A lot of bullets flying.
We don't see her speed bubble we don't see her speed up in the speed bubble, right?
In the speed bubble, no, because they move at the same.
Do you think that would be like compounding and she would move faster, or would they cancel each other out in some way and she would just be going like? Is there a maximum speed that you can get yourself up to?
No, there isn't. Right? There's not a maximum weight. It's however much is stored up. So if you burn it all immediately, you can literally be like the Flash and run around the globe in 0.3 seconds. But the speed bubble is contained, so as soon as you would leave the walls of that speed bubble, you would go back to being whatever, like, instead of like quadruple speed, you'd be like double speed if you're speeding.
Huh? Okay, yeah. Nope. Yeah, that's sinking in.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are confined by the walls of the bubble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she...
No, Jonathan, no, we know she wasn't in the bubble. We were talking hypothetically about if she were in the bubble, could she go fast? Is there a maximum speed that she can get up to?
Yeah, which I don't think so, because with ferrochemical abilities, you can burn like as much of it as you have stored immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's dangerous for sure.
Well, yeah, because like the one of the things that I think is under appreciated about the speed of it is she, like, if you were to run into something, like if your brain can think faster, which it has to for any kind of... Well, one of the problems with being a speedster is that your brain has to also be able to think faster than a human brain, because you have to be able to process faster. Like, the reason why Barry Allen doesn't actually make sense is as you get closer to the speed of light, everything around you slows... The way in which light interacts with your brain would slow down, because you'd be... So you can... There's a maximum speed at which you would be able to see things. But if you were to run into a wall... right? Your brain is processing that you're moving at close to the way our brains process our speed now, but the velocity you're hitting that wall at is actually so much greater that, like, if you were to bump into anything, the chance of you hurting yourself by bumping... I guess it doesn't matter because she's a Condra. But for a regular person, because you're not also a pewter arm, if you were to run into something, you would hurt yourself terribly, right? But it wouldn't feel like you're moving that velocity because your brain has to be able to process at the velocity, at the speed that your body's moving. And so you would become kind of a glass cannon in a way where, like, it's really possible for you to hurt yourself by bumping into something in a way that your brain would think wouldn't be that big a deal, but is actually at a velocity that your body, because it isn't stronger than a normal body in any way, wouldn't be able to handle.
Yeah. Like accidentally stubbing your toe would shatter your foot because of the speed at which you're going.
Yeah, Guillermo says Speed Force is basically handle. Yeah, Speed Force is necessary for Barry's speed to make sense. But
if that were the case, wouldn't you like heat up your joints and your ligaments in a way that was unsustainable?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Judah, thank you for that super chat. With still running, air friction is the limit unless you can also store heat, but you'd have to have a second ferrochemical power for that.
Yeah, there would be a limit at which your body could move through air.
Why would you need to store heat? Wouldn't moving faster warm you up? Wouldn't you need to be cooled down?
Yes, you would have to store it as it's coming in.
Why can't it just go out into the world? Like your body doesn't...
Because you don't expel heat that quickly. So if you're moving that fast, you would need to be able to like absorb that heat out of your body as you're running, basically.
You get real gassy.
That's not heat though, but yeah. Because that gas will also have to be something, right?
Yeah.
Grybach says the speed from Ferrochem probably has some hand waving with it, just like weight affects your durability too.
Yeah. We do have some of those moments from Wax's POV about how his.
It's one of the things that makes it's one of the. I really like the Mistborn magic system. I want to say that before I say this, because this isn't a real complaint, because I like that it works the way it does because it works. But one of the problems with the system is that there is pewter, which makes you stronger. And if there is a power that increases the durability of your body, getting enhanced durability from other powers seems to violate the fact that that ability exists. A little bit. It doesn't really matter, but like weight shouldn't actually make you more durable, but it does.
Just makes you more dense, right?
Right, but density isn't actually durability. Like you're
Wouldn't thicker, heavier metals or materials be denser and stronger?
Right, but you're like magically dense. You're not actually dense.
But you are. Because you're magically dense.
No, because like Wax still gets fist fighting Miles.
I know, but we cannot do an extra long book club today. So.
Sorry.
No worries.
So yeah, they fight all the way to the governor, and Drim.
Yeah, Drim gets shot. He throws himself in front of the governor,
saving
to
his
try
life.
And save him.
But Wax almost gets Pa'alm. Oh, so basically, Pa'alm is just outside the speed bubble. And so Wax takes out his guns and just starts blasting, shooting as much as possible, hoping that any of the bullets will pop out, will hit the speed bubble, fly out in a random direction and hit her. Because she's only like a foot away from it. So he's like, fucking one of these better hit.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, but bullets don't do anything to Condra. Why would he do that? And it's because he's following that up with the syringe. And he pushes the syringe, and he's hoping that in the distraction of the bullets, she'll miss the syringe. But the syringe, unfortunately, just pings off of the speed bubble into the wall.
Yeah. It was, it was not a half bad plan, especially in the desperation of the moment. But it does not work, unfortunately. And Drim dies.
And so Drim dies. The governor is there. They find the governor. He's holding Drim's neck. And Pa'alm escapes into a tunnel. And Wax gets her cloak. But Wax is like, I don't know. She didn't kill the governor and she could have. That has to be intentional.
She might have... He is like, maybe she ran out of speed.
But even without speed, she still could have killed the governor. She's still a Condra.
She says that he has to die at the right time.
Right, and so that's why I think that he's alive for a reason.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm worried about too.
Trying to cause chaos.
Yeah.
And so we get chapter 17.
Last chapter of this week. They're meeting with the officials. The governor wants to stay. He does not want to go into hiding.
Yeah. And so Wax and Milan are going to stick around and protect him.
Yeah. They think that Bleeder was always the marksman from the beginning of the book because it'd be easier for her to stir up dissent as one of the people in the slums who's just trying to help other people out. that this has been a very,
Or
very
was always
long...
behind the marksman. They did capture the marksman. He died.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That she's connected to it somehow.
But she was the person who crossbowed him.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because Wax saw Bloody Tan nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They give Milan a body of a female guard who died in the attack.
Oh, no, wait. No, the person who crossbowed the marksman got shot in the head by Marcy.
Really?
Oh, but fucking... Yeah, Marcy, remember, she pulls out of her purse... Because she's got Marcy, and then she pulls her gun up and shoots him in the head. But that could still be... No, couldn't... Because she was in Bloody's tan body at the time. So those people were all working for Bleeder.
That's the thing. Bleeder definitely has a bunch of people working for her.
Yeah.
Especially is in like, we learn with, like, the church stuff, how they're going around kind of trying to sow dissent. The substance that they find, the blue glowy stuff, means that Bleeder has been back to the Condra homeland, which they don't really live at anymore, and it is like a very special sacred place.
We're going to the Condra homeland. I'm excited to see what at the beginning of this book, I wouldn't have cared. I was like, I wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't have thought to care. I was like, oh, the Condra homeland's gone. Like, and now that they're like, we're going to the Condra homeland, and the Condra still exists, I'm like, oh shit, I'm very in.
Yeah.
Very excited to see what it looks like now.
Yep. And we get a fun little meeting with Wax and his dear uncle, Edwarn. Because Wax is like, look, there is simply no way that Bleeder is working totally in tandem with the set.
Yeah.
Because they want to, like, have power and take over stuff. They don't want anarchy. That would be bad for business. So there's got to be something going on here.
And Set agrees. Like, Set is on the same page. He has different radical ideas he wants to push through.
Set is like, or sorry, not Set. Edwarn is like,
Edwarn,
I'm actually a very, like, conservative member of the Set. Like, I don't want to just willy-nilly kill people.
Yeah.
I'm actually really good and lovely and wonderful. And Wax is like, yeah, I don't buy that.
I don't care at all.
But he says, nah, I'm not gonna help you. I'm not fucking around. I'm not interfering. This isn't my circus.
Yeah.
And
it really is a not my monkeys, not my circus kind of moment.
Pretty much.
Yeah. He's like, good luck. If you kill her, great. I'll deal with it. If you don't, great. I'll work with her. Yeah. Honestly, like, works either way for me.
If you kill me, your sister is dead. So don't do that. He's like, great. Well, then I will go deal with Bleeder, and then I will deal with you later.
Yeah, it is interesting, right? Because Edwarn really does seem like he's like, I don't want her to succeed, but I'm not going to help you with that. And I think that that's going to change. I think that this scene is here to set up that Edwarn is going to help Wax succeed in taking down Bleeder in this book. That's my prediction, is that Edwarn or someone working... Edwarn will in some way provide a piece of help to Wax that will help him take down Bleeder.
I can see that happening.
It'll be because Edwarn has his own goals.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to become friends, but I do think that this is here to set up... Because Edwarn being like, I'm not going to help you here, is a setup for when Edwarn does help Wax at some point in this book. Yeah,
I think it'll happen. And if it doesn't happen in this book, like, I think that there will be a point where they're reluctantly working together because they have different end goals, but the same immediate goal of someone who's just, like, too unruly to deal with. This meeting was definitely really fun.
I liked it a lot.
Good setup.
I like giving Wax someone to talk to who challenges him. Because Wayne and Marcy don't really challenge him.
Yeah.
They don't, right? Like, the three of them sort of enable each other's behavior. Wax challenges Marcy a little bit because he's, like, a little bit diminishing of her.
Yeah.
But he's getting better because God told him to. Which is crazy.
Divine mandate.
But it is nice that I would like more scenes where Wax is challenged. And I think that Steris is going to be that a little bit. I feel like Steris has the potential to challenge Wax and to make him a stronger kind of detective, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think that he is a little complacent in who he keeps around himself.
Sure.
You know? I like Batman most when Dick Grayson is willing to push back on him.
Or when Alfred is.
Yeah.
Right?
I like these characters when they have someone who's willing to tell them they're wrong.
Yeah.
And so I loved the scene set. I thought that the reading ended on such a high point here. Not action-wise, but although the Palm stuff was great.
Yeah.
But this high point of watching this main character who's been called out a lot in this section of reading, right?
Yeah.
Marisi calls him out.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit, not as much, but Set really calls him out here on how he's behaving and who he is and what he wants to accomplish and what that actually means, right? Like Set is really like putting the screws to him, and I thought it was some of my favorite writing that we read this week.
Yeah, for sure. This book has been great. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with the story. I am like definitely a little bit sad that we are missing book club next week. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There's a wedding. We're going to be in LA. So we will be finishing this book the following week.
I'll be alone on Friday. So I might do a book club by myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Probably not. But
Nerdy's just going to go live during the book club slot and like hang out with y'all.
Maybe. I'll be alone. You're going to be at a wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'll crash the wedding. I'll throw on my best catering outfit and I'll just crash.
No, God, please.
Y'all, that's book club for the week. Good reading. Good fun time. This was a fun book club. I feel like we had some very interesting conversations today.
Me too.
Thank you all for participating. It wouldn't be the same without you.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Shall we do high-low?
Yeah.
All right.
Highs. Clarus's high, my low, her low, my high. We used to do this in my family, celebrate each other's lows. Nope, celebrate each other's highs, commiserating over each other's lows, so that we could bond. Clarus and I do it so that we have one segment in our podcast, and that segment is this: high-low. Clarus, give them your high. We're compliment sandwiching this bitch.
Sick. My high of this section was definitely the Steris and Wax relationship building. The moments that they have, like being close and like being a little like flirty.
Yeah.
And Wax realizing the things that Steris is so good at. And just them really getting to know each other more. Steris is so wonderful that that was really like the standout high of this section. What is your low?
My low... That's tough.
Yeah.
Probably the Wayne Steris moment outside the tower.
Sure.
That was just a lot. This book doesn't want me to like him, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
What's your low?
I think my low was like that, like, just that weird one-off, like, Sazed moment where he's like, just because she's a threat doesn't mean that she's a man, like, for leader.
Yeah, it was cringy.
Like, okay, that was a little what, and it was so fast, it was so brief, it really did not affect the reading at all for me. But I was like, ooh, what's your high?
He's just like they are in Bloody Ten's body. I'm sorry, man. Yeah. I don't know. I've only ever seen them in a male body. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's very funny.
My high for this week. That's tough. There was some good stuff.
Great
I like the party.
A
lot of the party stuff was really good. I honestly like Wax and Milan's fight against the Set people and her pulling the gun out of the boob.
Ooh.
The rope dart fight. Like, you know, we don't really go beat by beat in the fights because it's hard to kind of talk about them on book club and then be like, this was a really cool fight with some great choreography moments.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that fight. And the introduction of Milan, the reveal that she's a Condra was really fun, and that we have like Condra on both sides of this fight. So, yeah, that moment was a great reveal to me. I really liked it. Yeah. Oh, and the Set conversation, honestly, at the end. I really like Set pushing
Edwarn.
Wax. Or, fuck.
Yeah, I know.
The fact that in this Set is a name, and the Sets are back, and yeah, the Set. But with Edwarn and Wax, I thought it was really Suit. That's what it is.
Yes.
And then he's Suit from the Set, and the Sets are, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I think that conversation really pushed back something I really liked. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. We have our reactions for
Shit, okay.
The next section, which is going to be chapter 20.
Great.
24.
Great.
25.
Great.
26.
Great.
And the episode.
So the last chapters of the book.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So thank you, Linus. Thank you, Johnny Coleman. And thank you, Kano. Excuse me.
You okay?
Yeah, we probably will not get those up, unfortunately, until we are back.
Yeah, unless we like do them in LA, but I don't know if we can.
I don't know if we will. So, we will be back late next Monday night. So we will get those chapter reactions to you closer to book club. Sorry about that. It is what it is. We're trying to squeeze it all in and get her done. But thank you for being here, guys.
Maybe we do chapter 20 in LA. So that when we land on like Tuesday, we can do 24 through the end. And,
we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see what we do. We're going to do our best, as always. Thank you so much for joining us for Book Club today. This was very fun.
Yeah, thank you to our mods.
We will be finishing Shadows of Self in 2 weeks. Then we're going to have another week off. Sorry about that, because we're going to be in Denver.
Yeah.
And then in March, we have 5 book clubs. And so, depending on what is the next reading order, because I think we're doing the 3rd book, Bands of Mourning, right? And then we're doing, I think, before we go to Japan, I think that we're going to try and get in Bands of Mourning and then Dawn Shard.
I don't know how many parts Dawn Shard is going to be, so we'll have to see.
It's like this big.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're going to do... I think we're going to try and get Dawn Shard done before... Oh, no, there's like a... Oh, shit. No, there's like a whole Arcanum Unbound thing we have to do.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So we can probably fit in that before we go.
Yeah.
But the problem is we can't do book clubs while we're in Japan because we cannot guarantee that the internet will be able to handle it.
And the time slot would be...
And the time zones would be
doing it at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So that schedule we'll get to you when we're back. We'll figure that out with the mods.
We're gonna do our best.
Because it's just gonna depend on how many sections each thing is. Looks like Bands of Mourning is probably gonna be 3, but
Karen, if you want to know why we're doing Lost Metal we're not doing Lost Metal after Bands of Mourning, you have to go to the spoiler chat in the Discord because we don't know.
We have no idea. Yeah.
That
has been decided for us, and
we read in the order you guys tell us to. So
we have no idea.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
All right, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave mean comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is best girl.
Steris.
Should probably be Milan, but it's always going to be Steris on my heart.
Yeah.
If you want to follow us on the internet, you can. I'm at nerdynightly.
And at Claris Polaris.
Claris, where would you add sex into this book?
Well, look, when you introduce a Condra like Milan, that just brings in so many incredible opportunities, right? Because, it could be one-on-one stuff. She can have as many mouths as she wants, so it could be, a whole group of people.
Yeah.
Milan just brings up so many fun opportunities. Now, who she would fuck in this section, I don't know, but I think I could see, a strong appreciation for Steris. I think Milan would be like, oh yeah, Steris is best girl. Milan is on that camp of Steris is best girl.
See, I see Milan as being more of a fucking powerful men because she thinks it's fun to break them, and so I was thinking more Aladar.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Milan is actually gonna fuck her way into the set. And infiltrate that way because she's got them big old boobies. And we all know that boobies are a weakness.
Them tickle bitties.
For anyone who is attracted to the female body.
And that's our book club. Thank you to our mods. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you. We will see you all in 2 weeks with Shadows of Self. And we might have some other book reviews coming up soon on the Nerdy Weirded Book Club channel. So make sure you're going and following that. There's a Bell's Hells book. And I promised Percy Jackson in January. And it's February. So that's coming soon.
Great.
Do something nerdy tonight, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.